Hey, everybody. This is another poker coaching study session. We're studying cash games, and we are going to study a bunch of three-way spots using the DTO trainer or the DTO Explorer and see what they're like. So what I've done is this is my database, and I've grabbed just a ton of pots that had three players in them, exactly three players, and we'll see how they were played. For fun, we'll start with the bigger game. So this is $5 no. This is the $5 no limit. So these are probably $500 buy-ins. Yeah, this is a $500 buy-in. All right. Get to see everyone's hands face up because we are special, and we get to see me play wrong because I do. The HUD stats on this are meaningless because this is the fast game. So we don't actually know anything about the players other than player pool tendencies. So looking at this, we can see the ace-9 suited raise, the 6-6 call, and the king-9 suited call. That seems to make sense to me. That seems all GTO approved. That's what we expect to see here. Raise, and he raises to just two big blinds. That's fine. Gets a call and a call. Anybody got a problem with anybody's play here? Yep, everybody's muted. Okay.
Um, so this is a six-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the ace-9 is going to be on the hijack. Ace-9 suited maybe might be a little bit too wide for cash there.
Oh
Well,
no. Oh no, no.
no,
All the
right?
way down to ace, all the way down to ace deuce suited there
Ace,
for
yeah.
you got to
Okay.
do that. The sixes, I think the sixes is mostly a call here, although he probably has some three bets on the button. And the king-9 suited for a squeeze seems a little tight. We'll look at what DTO says after the hand's played. Okay. But yeah, this seems perfectly fine. King-9 suited should check range, whether he has an ace, a three, whether he has ace-3 or not, he should just check range. He does. Ace-9 suited, um, both in this position, before we see the board, ace-9 suited here has some betting and some checking across boards. Now, on this particular board, a 3-3 deuce that doesn't help his range, I think he probably checks range on 3-3 deuce. I'm not sure of that. All right, we'll see. And the
You
sixes, oh yeah. Yes, Skate.
you're talking about the big line that he should check his range here, a three-way.
King-9 suited should check range. The DTO trainer, DTO Explorer simplifies to say that in every board we've ever seen, that the big blind in this configuration just checks range, always. The difference is that maybe there are some weird donking cases that they miss, but we can figure, let's just not learn them because it
Yeah.
can't be you can't be very wrong to check range there. So I'm in favor of it. The question was the
Which
ace-9 suited, does he have any bets? And what we've learned is in the sandwich, he does some betting and some checking across different boards. Some boards are check range boards, some boards mix. And I'm guessing that this is a close to check range board. That's a guess, just because it's bad for his range and good for their ranges. And
okay?
then,
So
yeah,
Eh,
yeah, yeah.
I would
and
I would bet that he has some c betting here because he's got all the overpairs, so he's going to have some bets, I think.
okay, that's a good point. Maybe he's got, yeah, we'll take a look at his overpairs. But this particular hand, let's assume, so let's go with your
Hey,
assumption that he
can I
does have
have, I'm sorry, I just got on. Can I have a quick recap of this hand?
uh raise, call, call, and here's our flop.
And then check, check.
We haven't looked yet. We're just saying what it should be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, and so I'm thinking that if he's got bets on this board, ace-9 suited is not one of them. I'm guessing this is a pretty close to check range board. Uh, Mike is guessing that it's got some bets on it. Yeah, ace-9 suited opened, Mike. He's guessing there's some betting on this board. I'm not confident in my point, but I don't
I
believe this hand bets.
There's going to be some betting.
Okay.
In position always has some betting. And I
Uh,
think ace
he's not
nine
in
at
position.
diamond, ace nine at diamonds might be something I do bet with.
Okay,
Backdoor
because you have
straight
the jack
draw,
of diamond.
backdoor wheel, and backdoor flush draw.
Okay. All right, we'll find out. You guys are voting for a bet. But when
But
he checks sixes, the sixes always bets now here. This has got to be a bet.
I think so.
Yeah, let's see what they do.
oh wait, I thought the sixes was in the small blind. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah,
Let
ace
me
nine
take
in the sandwich.
I take all that back.
Yeah.
Well, no. I think with the two on the board, we can bet.
Okay. All right. We'll
This will
see.
be interesting to look at in the
Yeah.
solver.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
So we have a check. The sixes bet. The bet is a little big for the solver. The solver wants this to be a third pot. Just
Yeah,
always. We haven't seen any bet of any size other than a third pot on the flop.
about
on three-way
2.2.
pots. Yeah. So 2.2, but not egregious.
Is the solver always a third pot?
Yeah, this solver has simplified it to that. And we don't know if that's a great idea, but we believe that the people who programmed DTO were poker players, and the simplifications that they made were intelligent. That's what we're assuming. So
So-
things like checking range from big blind, maybe there are some exceptions, but you can't be, I don't think you're wrong simplifying to that. And simplifying to a third on all boards,
Can I
you're not
do
going to be
that
wrong.
in my game where I play with people that call too much?
Yep, you can change it for an exploit. That, I mean, if yes, with your value hands and don't bluff, that's great. Bet over its size with your value
Except-
hand.
Except I was recently traumatized by someone who called with 2-3 because it's Michael Jordan.
And it's funny. It's funny to
So
call it three.
They called, like 5 cold with 3
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
Yeah, or their birth date or whatever.
Yeah,
Exactly.
excuse
And that
for
traumatized me because I thought like,
Yes.
no,
In
not
our
such
Yeah.
in our limit game for years, the name of the deuce three was the Stan, and the name of the deuce three suited was the Super Stan. Because Stan found it funny in the big blind to play those hands. Because whenever you win with them, it's funny.
Yeah.
All right. That was a good game. I missed that game. Stan was
Well,
also a good guy. I miss Stan. Okay.
it traumatized
So
me.
there's the bet. And I think we get the king nine suited has to fold here. Ace nine suited, backdoor and backdoor 2 overs. Do you want to call this multi-way or do you want to just get out of here?
I think I fold with the large sizing.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. All right. Fold.
But you can't call if you're going to continue. You have to raise. But I don't even
Okay.
see raising to this large sizing.
Gotcha. So in the solver, we're going to see the normal. We're going to see the smaller size. So in the solver, are you looking for a raise here sometimes and no calls? Is that what you're expecting, Joey?
I'm not sure.
Okay. But you don't like, but you like a raise here more than a call. Is that right?
To this large sizing.
Oh, okay. And
If
to
he
the
made a
normal size.
standard 2.2,
Yeah.
because you have 2 overs, flush draw, and a wheel draw.
So you like, so to the normal sizing, to the 2.2, you like a call here with the ace nine suited.
Yeah.
You could
But
Okay.
also,
consider this a large sizing?
Yeah. Just
in a multi-way pot, yeah.
in a multi-way.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm looking towards folding to the 3, and I'm also looking at folding to the 2.2. That's my feeling. Let's see what he does. This is certainly not a take the lead card.
Nope.
He checks sixes, the 7 doesn't hurt him. So he's probably, so at this point, once he gets called, sixes are looking marginal made. Yes, if you have leftover boiled milk for oatmeal, you can put it back in the milk container when it cools.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. We'll confirm that with our GTO milk expert. If he
Please.
boils milk for his oatmeal and then it has it left over, can he put it back in the milk container and put it back in the freezer, in the refrigerator, Cat?
It's not hot.
As long as it's not hot when you do it. Yes, he says when it
Okay.
cool. We're good.
Okay, awesome.
So much to learn. All right. think the sixes now probably should check back, should check and go to the river.
Yeah.
Is against the call, they're just marginally made. Yeah. But he
Yeah,
doesn't want.
I'm never bet double barreling with the sixes
Yeah.
there.
So he doubles. And once he doubles, though, the ace nine now has to fold. So it's going to work for him. Oh, this is bad. Unless he has a plan for bluffing, this is just throwing money away. Trying to hit the ace or the nine now with no back doors. That's what I think. But there's that. That's always a good plan. Hitting the ace is a good plan.
6 outs.
6 outs.
You got to bet.
Yeah, but Larry, is that I'm uncapped plan to bluff the river if he doesn't hit?
I would think that would be the only reason to call turn, is that you're planning
Yeah.
on having some kind of aggressive action on
Right.
on
Yeah,
river.
I was saying, yeah. But now he doesn't have to. To get value, he probably had against, I mean, not just against the sixes, but against villain 13's probable range here. He has to bet out to get value because sixes is just, villain 13 has just got to check so many of his hands now. And he
Yeah,
checked.
but
Yeah.
I think after a double barrel, an ace just wants to check here. Or at the most do a blocking bet.
Yeah. Sixes check behind intelligently. And there you go. All right. So that's the hand. Let's see. Let's look at our levels of egregious according to the solver.
Now, I also want to make one comment.
Yeah.
That on a 3-3-2 board,
Mm-hmm.
who we using, low jack or cutoff for this hand?
We gotta decide between the two. We'll look at both. We'll look at both. So you were saying though, on the 3-3-2 board,
The middle player may have some bets.
on the flop.
Yes.
Okay, let's check it out.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think if we don't find a 3-3-2 board, like even a 7-7-6 board will be considerably different, I think.
Yeah.
5-5-2 is good.
5-5-2 is going to be our best.
Yeah.
This is low jack. He's in the hijack, so that changes it. But let's do this. This is the closest thing we got. All right. The nice thing to know is, oh, we didn't even see the pre-flop ranges, but we'll see them now. Okay. So big blind is going to check range. That's the only option they give us. And we think that's a good option to repeat. But let's look at what his range was, what he defended. So he had king nine suited. And in his absolute case. So it looks like he squeezed a little bit of his king nine suited pre-flop. These weren't folds, were they? No.
Yeah, I would imagine squeeze. Does look like
Let's
squeeze bluffs to me.
do a quick. Let's do a quick thing here and go pre-flop. Pre-flop, 6 players. We are doing we'll just use their regular 6-player thing and not worry about the reg. So we have a low jack raise, fold. Ooh, cutoff has some calls in this. This is good, but you can see them. So in that case, let's go back and get the real range that they have. So low jack folds. Try that again. Low jack folds, hijack raises, cutoff folds, button calls. And now we get to the big blind who has calls. And yeah, so there we go. He's squeezed some of his some of this versus the low jack that he didn't squeeze here. So that's where those are. So king nine, not a bad squeeze. Mostly calls. That's the
So how many
first.
big blinds is he squeezing there? He's going to 14.5.
Yeah.
That's a reasonable squeeze. That's pretty
Yeah.
squeezy. Yeah.
1450. And makes sense. 2.5 in.
Well, how
7.5
much does
in. 11.5 plus another 2.5 on it. Yeah.
What does DTO use for its open range?
2.5.
So 7.5,
7.5, 10.
10,
Small blind and then brings him to
10.5,
yeah, and then another 2.5 for being out of position.
13.
Right. And he pushes it up and they go to no, I got that as 14. Let me see, do this again. 10, a
So
dollar,
GTA was able to use 14 and a half.
11.5
I think.
plus 2.5 more is 14, and then they bump it up to 14.5. Pot plus 1 is 14 is what I get. Did you get that? Did I do that wrong, Joey?
When I do pot plus an extra from the big blind, I don't necessarily count my one blind that's already in the pot.
Really?
You should.
Really?
You should. I think I believe that you just do. That's what I believe. Feel free to disagree. Okay. And the sixes here, we know this, we didn't look at it, but we know these sixes is a perfectly fine, going back to here, to the button, just to look at it. We know that the sixes are a perfectly reasonable call and some raising, just what we thought. You don't get to, I mean, you're not even pure raising queens there. You're mostly raising it. Jacks, 50-50, 10, all of this. And down to fours, threes, and twos. These have no three bets. They have some folds. So that's DTO's range. You just accordioned out. All right. No one cares what you said.
Was that
Right.
an accordion or a bag
Including me.
or bagpipe deflating?
It could be
Or an
both.
accordion.
Both. All right. So here we go.
A bad internet connection.
So of course we have the check we
Yeah.
expected. Now for the low jack. Nope, this is a check range board. Yay me. This is 5-5-2, not 3-3-2. So a little bit different, but still.
Well,
It's
I think I pulled out the determinant that might change things is having a 2 on board.
right.
Whenever a 2 hits, like some of our generic guidelines do change.
Right. Because the 2 is a null card,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
that's why I pointed that out as a possibility. But here it doesn't change it. We're still checking range.
Yeah.
A 2 is a null card because you're just playing ace 2 and that's it? Is that?
Yeah,
Just
almost nobody has it in range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Low jacks. I mean, there are bunch of ace 2 suiteds that people have, but that's the only one. Sometimes there are 2-2s.
But even look here, it's not even in full in the
Yeah.
razor.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
has about
Initially,
half of each, so he has
Right.
maybe 5 combos that hit the 2 out of his
Yeah.
whole range.
yeah, you look at it. We go back to the big blind. The big blind has deuce, deuce, and ace deuce suited. Full frequency, but that's it.
And then with a 2 hitting, that's
The deuce, deuce is reduced
six
by
total
half by
combos.
half. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So low jack checks range in this case. Again, we're looking at 5-5-2, not 3-3-2, because that's the best we have. And now the button can do a lot of betting, and definitely all the sixes and up are all going to bet, I say. Okay, fine. Check. Check. Here we go. And his range, notice he doesn't even have ace deuce suited. Go back to relative to make life easy. He doesn't have ace deuce suited, and his deuce deuce, he has very little of. But he bets his full house. He bets his quads. No slow playing. This one surprises me that you're betting your quads because the other guys have no deuces to continue on with. But I guess they continue on with overpairs and on the right sizing. They have to continue on with backdoors. So let them, so they do pay you some money. More checking with these than I expected. Sixes, sevens, eights, nines, tens, jacks, even much more checking than I expected.
I thought that like for like 6s, 7s, and 8s that the betting might be pure.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I could see sort of reverse linear queens, jacks, tens, but even nines and lower,
What's
I
his
thought
whole range betting?
half.
51% of the time.
Yeah, 51%. Yeah, surprising. Okay.
So it's kind of mediocre. Like I've seen things lower than 50%
Yeah,
on the low end,
yeah,
but then the high end we've seen like 67-ish
yeah.
somewhere.
Yep. But I would just never check sixes here. That just seems like you're just giving away the value of your hand. But
Obviously, they see it as some sort of marginal made hand then.
yeah, yeah. Protect the checking range.
Why are you never checking sixes?
I'm never checking sixes here because I still think like a fixed limit player when I shouldn't. Which is I have the best hand right now, and I'm not gonna have the best hand on the next card again, especially against two players.
Oh.
So that's why I'm betting my sixes here.
I would be betting sixes pure because my thoughts from seeing all the heads up solves, sixes, sevens, and eights in this on this board would need the most protection.
Exactly.
So I would bet them more and then maybe start checking nines, tens, jacks, and queens.
Mhm.
Checking queens the most and nines the least. But
Right.
this solve is going against everything we've learned for a heads up solve.
Right. So let's take a look at the linearness of it. So
Like
61, 73, 73. So not really reverse linear so much. Yes, the queens are a little less than jacks and tens, and then it's going 64, 59. Now it's going linear down. So we just believe that the low jack, I mean, in this case, that the low jack checked all his overpairs, and we don't want to get check raised. That seems like what we believe here, because the linearness of the tens, nines, eights, sevens, sixes tells me we're afraid of overpairs more than we're afraid of giving a free card.
lots of overpairs to sixes.
Exactly. Exactly. So
There's almost no good cards for sixes, right? We don't
that's the
want
that's
any cards.
well, that's the thing
That's the
is that
Not even
idea.
overpairs
good
but there's over
cards
cards.
versus
Both things are bad. So here's the bet. He bets the sixes, totally reasonable. King
Big
nine
blind
suited
folds.
Yeah.
is out of there. And let's see, and a bunch of check raises in this. Remember, we didn't see a lot of check raising in the sandwich before.
And I would have
Yeah.
that's because of the two, and that the big blind has a larger share of the twos than anybody else in the hand.
Right. And
He has more of the fives too.
more of the fives too.
I don't think anybody else has 7-5 suited in range.
Yeah. And the 5-4 they don't nobody else has 5-3. That's for sure.
And the
So
king five,
yeah.
maybe the low jack might have king five
Low
too.
jack has some king five here. I don't know if it does in DTO Wizard, but it does in GTO Wizard. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
I know in GTO. I don't know if in DTO
Yeah, I don't know if they have it
if
or
they
not.
sent, or if they have, or what frequency they have it.
Yeah,
Mm.
and I don't think we don't need to check it too much. But let's take a look quick at what his absolute on this is. Pure with the ace five. Oh, he's just pure on the 7-5. So yeah, we've got more fives, and we do very little slow playing of them. Seven,
Oh, he almost never has king five suited though.
oh yeah, king's five doesn't exist. You're right. I always got to check that. That is absolute sliver. But let's look at it in this mode of what he actually has. His fives, his quads do slow play. But his trips, very little slow playing. Ace five never. 7-5 does it a fair amount. So we're not doing a lot of slow playing here.
And even though 5-4 and 6-5 might be in range of the other players, I don't think either one of them have it in full.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So this board is definitely much better on the nut advantage side for the big blind.
Yeah. Fast playing deuce, fast playing ace deuce. Oh boy, deuce, deuce there. And then folding, no, there's no folding. This is going to go back to relative. Those, it's blue as a fold, not dark. So
Right.
no folding and overpair, not a lot of raising from them, even all the way up to tens.
Well, tens, that looks
Tens
like it's
does it.
more
No,
than
tens does
half.
it. You're right. Yeah, tens is the majority. Tens, your top pair, tens. I saw that now. Nine's not much. So calling there. And then you stick around with,
It looks like all the suits are about
yeah,
evenly shared.
yeah. If you're suited, you stick around with all back doors and fold without the back door
That's
on here,
interesting.
on the ace jack and the ace 10. Ace nine, you don't
Ace
stick around.
nine's Ace nine is folding to the small bet too.
All these guys fold to the small bet. And these guys, because they now feel you want, if you hit your ace, you don't want to be against a better ace.
So basically, to this,
Button.
go over ace nine again.
Yeah.
Yeah, to this bet, it's the solver's broken.
Solver's broken.
Yeah,
Meaning,
with him calling with ace nine.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He doesn't have it there. Ace queen is just enough. It's ace queen, and I don't believe you. So and this is the big blinds response, not the button. We're not. This
Oh,
is
I thought that I.
oh, this is
Never
the big
mind.
blind. Big blind has a bunch of check raises, is what we're finding out there. He
I
fold,
thought we were looking at low jack.
no. Now we're gonna see it. Yeah. So the big blind had a surprising amount of check raising compared to what we've seen before on this board, compared to other boards. Ace nine suited, it's not broken.
It, yeah.
It's calling all over the place. But not to the small size, very little raising. Sliver of raises
Well,
there.
I was going to mention that earlier.
Yeah.
Last week, what I noticed a pattern that say the button bets and the big blind calls, the hijack would have or low jack would have more check raises.
Yep, we're gonna check that right here, right now.
But
Same thing.
when the big blind folds, the low jack gets much fewer check raising.
Yep, twice. It was about five, it was 5 something% with the fold. It's 12% with the call. We see the same thing pattern here. Against the call, though, we fold all this. Backdoor and two
Oh,
overs, not enough.
and it would seem that those have better pot odds with the call.
Those calls include some fives.
Yeah, but the calls do include some fives, but
Yeah,
you are drawing to a backdoor. Well, backdoor is only what, 6%?
yeah, yeah. And pot odd, yeah, pot odds are not a thing in the face of reverse implied pot odds.
Because they might have a full house already. Like
That's all right. Yeah,
that's what my population shows up with here.
sure,
Full
sure.
house on the flop.
There you go. And here's what he does with his overpairs. This is two, and by the way, this is with the call in the middle. Aces, kings, queens go reverse linear. And they still do a lot of checking. 27, 41. Oh, not reverse linear. Once again,
So you call that reverse linear when they're
when it happens, this wasn't reverse linear. Reverse linear would be 27, 41, 60, saying my queens need more protection than my kings than my aces.
so you bet more with your queens than your aces. Is that what you're saying?
That's
That's
what,
reverse
yeah.
linear. Okay.
Yeah, and in this case, it's mixed because I bet more with my queens than my aces, but I bet more with my kings than my queens. So it's not,
Yep.
so
Yep. Understood.
not a strong
Like you
thing.
bet more with the jacks, but then the aces you
Yeah,
bet more.
exactly. But here we don't.
Yep.
So there you go. All right, so he calls. So with the fold, this is perfectly fine. So this is going to be on this guy. We have to go to here to do it. Big blind folds. Low jack calls with the ace nine.
So you're betting a bit more than a quarter pot here.
About a third.
Standard stairs.
About a third.
Yeah, a
Pretty
third,
close to it.
quarter, something like that.
Yeah. The turn was the 7 of clubs. And all but Matt, and the club was it was off one of the 5s. So we'll do the 7 of diamonds.
So should I modify my game to just to bet like a third pot on the flop?
I would make that change. I would make that change in the multi-way.
In multi-way, yes.
Yeah. I would just simplify, just do it. Do it for a month, see what happens.
And this third pot is not like way out of line because I've also seen that in simple 3-way.
Yeah.
What do you mean simple 3-way?
It's another multi-way tool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
like what if I get like 8 players on the flop?
Totally different.
What would your bet size be?
Still a third, but it would be with a much tighter range.
Yeah.
Because someone's gonna hit that, right? Someone's gonna have the 5-2 here.
Yeah, you should have no bluffs here, and pocket aces is marginally made at best with 8 players in. I mean, the minimum value hand is a 5.
That's your minimum is a 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
With 8 players, yes. Ace 5 is a good value hand because you at least outkick the other 5s, but you are not confident you're not up against pocket deuces with 8 players.
So like I was playing the other day and the flop comes 4-3-3 and 2 clubs, and I have ace king of clubs, so I bet it. Is that a mistake?
How many players were in?
8.
Ugh.
Yes.
Okay.
You want to realize your equity, and you don't want to be check raised or raised, right? And
Okay.
it's a paired board. You could be essentially drawing dead.
Yeah. With 8 players, sure, 4-3 suited can be out there, 4-4,
Yeah.
and you might not be against it. But the way I would look at it is this: is on the river. If by the river you make your flush,
Yeah,
and a lot of money goes in, sometimes you're against a smaller flush. Most of the time, you're against a full house if enough money goes in. Therefore, keep the pot small. That's my thought.
Okay. I think I totally played it wrong because
what happened?
What?
What happened?
I lost. I got stacked. Of course,
All
I
right.
moved my flush.
And you got stacked.
With a draw to the straight flush on the turn, and I get stacked.
Yep. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, because the 5 of clubs comes on the turn. So now I got my top flush plus a redraw to the straight flush. But of course, they're playing 3-4 off after
off surprises me a little bit.
Yeah.
The off surprises me a little bit.
Yeah, it surprised me.
Yeah.
But the suited doesn't surprise me. And if he was in the big blind, even the off doesn't surprise me that much.
He was cold calling from the early position.
That surprises me.
Yeah, surprised the hell out of me.
Yeah. So we get the 7, and we have no leading with anything. We check button, and you'll notice here that for DTO it only gives us 2 choice: pot and 2 pot. There are no medium-sized bets in this tool. So this is also maybe not a bad simplification to take.
Pot or twice pot on the turn?
Pot and twice pot.
Who does that?
DTO.
Do you do that live? Like in real land? Is that what you do? Pot or twice pot?
Close. I mean, I've been changing it to no small bets here. I've been doing 80 and 90%. I haven't done twice pot yet.
So you bet a third on the flop and pot or twice
and then
pot
blast
on
the turn. Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm playing totally wrong then.
You're not playing you're not playing with the simplification the programmer chose here, and we're going to make the guess that the programmer here has more experience than any of us.
Yeah.
Because
I fully acknowledge that.
That's what we're going to make the guess of, and that guess came from playing in the real world, not playing against another solver.
So 1/3 on the flop and full pot or twice pot on the turn.
Yeah. And of
What do you
course,
do
if you
on the
bet a
river?
pot and a half, of course, if you bet a pot and a half, there can't be anything wrong with betting between pot and two pot. Obviously, if
That
you're allowed to
includes
bet
both,
pot
yeah.
and two pot, you can bet 1.5. And if you don't want to bet pot, just don't bet small.
By small, you mean a third?
Don't
Or
bet
you
a
mean
third.
like
Don't bet a half. Bet 75%.
bet least a half
Work
or
your way up.
75%. So if you can't
I'm
bet
no, I'm saying
75%,
not even a half. I'm saying if you want to start following this advice and you're not willing to commit to pot and two pot, at least go to 75% and see what happens. And then start going to
Okay.
pot, see if you make more money. See if they're right in the wild. Okay.
This is
This guy goes half pot, so we won't really see it, but there's just no way that the ace nine can call there against this. This is
I also want to point out, I was kind of away from my computer, but I heard that conversation. We don't know how they simplified either. It could very much have been a simplification where they started with 4 or 5 sizes on the first run and then started combining sizes together on a second and third run until they came up with their choices.
Yeah.
Well,
but they obviously decided that there wasn't enough value in learning something smaller than pot.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
so
Can we see where
I
the
just
flush draw
take it as religion
cutoff
or
is?
math.
Is the flush draw cutoff at queens or kings that you're calling?
The calls. Let's see. So all the ace flush draws call.
So this pot side bet. Kings are already indifferent.
Kings are already king 10. It should be, we're looking for the blue and we're looking for clubs. Yeah. King 10 is already indifferent, which surprises me. And queens are out with the queen 9 freak because it blocks. It's not a draw. It blocks the 8-9. That's not good. I do not know where this freak queen 9 comes from.
I guess it just doesn't have enough check raise bluffs.
Roll over it again. Diamonds.
Diamonds makes sense.
I mean, it's blocking the gut shot.
Well, let's think. So the button double barreled here. Why would queen jack and queen 10 be complete folds and queen 9 not?
Right. And king 10 and king 9. King 9 calling.
Were they're calling with the flush draw.
Yeah. King 9 called with the flush draw, but king 10 is indifferent.
X's.
Right.
It must be like if you go to the button range, are they bluffing jacks and 10s?
Let's see. So when we checked, so we go back one step. Here's the button.
Yeah, there's bluffing from the jacks and 10s.
Right. But also from the 8. So I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing what the queen 9.
Go to absolute now, real quick.
Okay, good.
Yeah, there's more jacks and 10s in range than the 9s.
So when we have a 9, we unblock this area of bluffs of his. He can be here and these can all be folds when we have a 9. They're also true with an 8, but why do it with an 8 when you can do it with a 9? That's the story. It's one below where his bluffs come from. We're sticking with that as our logic?
Yeah, looks like it
Okay.
works mathematically.
Yeah, that makes some sense. Okay. And so we check fold. He didn't. And we can't see what we do with an ace on the river because this tool does not give us rivers. All right. Let's look. So there is no justice on this board. Next hand. Queens are going to raise, and this is surprisingly going to go. Queens are going to raise, ace jack is going to call, and ace king is going to call behind. I do not approve.
Yeah, this should be a 4-bet
Oh no,
pot.
it is a 4-bet. I guess my filter didn't filter this out.
That's a 3-bet, but I think the ace jack should 3-bet at some frequency too.
Yep. But
think
I'm
so?
sure he does some mixing here. Okay. And now
I
the
think ace
queens.
king mixes
Yeah.
folding and 4-betting
Yeah.
after ace jack 3-bets.
Right. Queens can take a flop in position. Queens can 4-bet. And can 4-bet this 3-bet, I assume.
Question about the queens here, gents. I wonder if it makes more sense to do what he did because he's not really interested in giving the price to the button and putting out of position.
Yeah.
No, I don't think the solver ever does that with queens.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, this guy's broken. Broken stack.
That makes even less sense then.
Yeah. Because he's making himself so vulnerable to the full stack to try to do something to the broken stack. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So there we go. And ace king now. Ace king has got to think now though that whether I have the bet stand that one of my aces or kings are gone against one of their pairs.
That's an important consideration here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know your outs are blocked by
Yeah.
one of these guys.
Right. And here he is
I'm looking
with 33.
this up on GTO Wizard now. What did
Yeah.
So we started about 100 big blinds.
Yeah, we have the weird broken stack, but everybody else is 100.
Hijack button.
We can do anything with queens here, including this play.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Especially with the broken stack.
I don't find it particularly attractive to give a calling price to the button.
Ace
Yeah.
king's not fold here. He should.
I like the shove here. I think shove's the right
You
play.
know
with
what?
this hand.
Yeah.
GTO Wizard mixes shoves, 4-bets, and calls.
From the queens.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But he's obviously going to call, and then this just goes out. And there goes the mistake. All right.
And then the first time through, though, ace jack off should
Mhm.
either 3-bet or fold.
Yeah, I didn't think. Does ace queen do any calling on the button there?
I just closed that window.
Okay.
Ace queen off does do a little bit of calling, but mostly 3-bet.
Right.
So
Okay.
so you're saying ace jack off should not
I'll just
call? Just 3
I'll
bet
just-
or fold?
No, it's 85% raising, 15% folding,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
and that was to a 2.5 sizing.
Yeah. And I'll do it here for fun. It was the hijack who did the raise, right? This is our pre-flop one. So hijack raised,
I think so.
button, ace jack. This one has some calls of ace jack off differently. They go ace 10 is where they go call or fold. Ace jack can do anything.
Well,
Ace
that's
queen.
all. The open ranges that GTO starts with are wider than the GTO Wizard ranges.
Yep. And they prefer they like all the pairs better
And
also.
it's not by just a shade, it's a couple percentage points.
Yeah. It was 10 combos. But just looking at here, we get the ace jack behavior is ace 10 here. But here you go with
Ace
the
jack is still folding a little too.
Yep, folds a little. The call is fine for them. Ace queen mixes and ace king is doing some mixing, mostly raising, as we all know. But this does exist. But once this happens, once we get the call from the button, this small blind ace king has, oh, he does it. Yeah. Yeah, that's pure. So he does the raise. We come back around on the hijack, and this guy, and
That looks similar to the GTO Wizard.
yeah. But then I notice here, interestingly, very little, very little raising. It's
Except
jamming and calling.
the difference is GTO Wizard has a little more raising and a little less all in.
Right. The was I good? No, go back one. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Jam. We jam.
It has to be a
This
fold.
is all with this is all with a full stack button, not a broken stack button. The way
I don't think it's gonna have any.
yeah.
I think with the broken stack, it's still a fold.
It's a
You have ace jack, and then was 3-bet and then 4-bet.
he has no calling range. He has basically no calling range.
No queens.
He
has
calls the
whatever
queens that he
sliver of
never
queens. Yeah.
He calls the queens that he never has. Right.
He's even folding queens some.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. But when he calls, what do you mean? What do you mean he never takes this action? Are you kidding? Yes, he does. He has queens. All right, fine.
Do you do a GTO Wizard?
Yeah, GTO is wrong.
I don't think GTO Wizard actually is going to have any calls
right.
here.
But the GTO Wizard, in GTO Wizard, we never,
it has queens. It mixes queens.
Yeah, here we go. We are in, let's get out of MTT here, land. I apologize for even showing you an MTT chart. What were we thinking? So, hijack raise, button. There's your raise or fold range from the button.
Oh, wow.
How different this one is than yours? Were you in NL50?
Yeah, I'm looking at GTO Wizard.
Yeah.
Now keep going. What do you get? What do you get back to the small blind and you see the small blind response after the call?
Right. Small blind here, big blind folds, hijack queens, looks similar. He goes all in. Button's calling range, again, is queens.
Normalize that range for a second. You'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, he never has it. That normalize here is under. Where's my look? Where is
it?
It's right under the button greened out thing. No. See the very top line where it has a button fold call with green around it?
Yes.
Go below that.
Normalized. My sliver of queen.
That so it goes it's very similar to the DTO.
Right. Small blind, ace king is a fold there. They're saying fold it.
Probably for the reasons you're mentioning.
Yeah.
You know that probably some of your outs are dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the fold of ace king there. I think that what the configuration we saw, although you're not going to see ace jack offsuit there from the button, I think I don't know which one of them has a pair, but I think there's a pair out there, and I think there's likely an ace or a king gone, and sometimes there's aces in. I think that's a perfectly reasonable fold there. He went. Was there anything else we wanted to know about that? No.
Yeah, it was all in. We don't need to run it post flop.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Ace jack is going to raise that. This may be this ace king suited should 3-bet. But if he calls, the queen 10 suited should stay in, and squeeze against the hijack.
If he calls, I think queen 10 suited might have some squeeze.
Might have some squeezing, yeah, but not a pure squeeze. So there's our raise. I've got 3-bet pots here. All right, well, we can look at 3-bet pots. We just can't analyze them.
I have no idea how this is going to multiple.
The
10 is just going to flat.
queen 10 is going to call this, and that's terrible. This is just, and by the way, this is at $5. This is a $500 game here, where you see two pretty big mistakes that we've seen already. This is a $500 game. Please don't let me be in any of these hands. All right. The ace jack now, given this action, I think he calls.
Yeah, suited.
Dominate. Yeah. Suited with a straight. I think you call this. It's not gonna be fun.
I don't. Let's look at it in GTO Wizard.
Okay. All right, we'll do it at the end. Or you can.
I'm not 100% sure about the call.
Yeah, but I'm sure he does. Here we go.
Oh, I'm sure he does, but I don't know if it's in.
Right. Yeah. All right. Who wants it most in this 3-way pot? I guess ace king wants it most. Nope.
See if it gets blocked off. Yeah, there we go.
The man has a plan.
Reward.
Yay.
Yay.
All right.
Reinforce that bad play.
All right. This is low jack.
Celebrate.
Exactly. There's 2 mistakes here. This is low jack, hijack, and cutoff. So we get a hijack raise.
We
Cut off.
might. Oh yeah, we got
Cut off 3
bet.
bets is ace king suited. Totally reasonable.
I don't think big blind's going to have any flats.
I don't think big blind has any flats. I think that it's a pure.
Oh no, they don't.
Fold. Yeah. So that's the first mistake from the queen 10. It's out of range.
So we can't even look at it.
No. Yeah, it doesn't exist. There are it just doesn't exist in this.
Look,
let's see
actually
if
they
Pedro
were
has a call.
closer to 150. See if the 150 chart changes it.
All right. $150. Big blind. Big blind's got some calls now. All right, we don't hate it. All right, I
What percentage of range is he calling? Is he calling?
take back everything I said. I take back everything I said about him not having a call, and I repeat everything I said about queen 10 suited not being a call.
Yeah. He's only calling a sliver of ace queen suited and a sliver of kings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if this is really a profitable play.
So call with the big blind.
Yeah, he calls. And
Ace
now,
jack suited folds.
and now you want ace jack suited folds. That's worth learning. I think this seems realistic. Well, no. When you know, no.
Well, you're walking with a lower SPR, so your flush value is not as strong as it would have been in a single raise pot. And holding an ace in this configuration, you're likely outkicked.
Right, reverse implied odds.
By at least somebody.
Yes, but I think it's wrong for a different reason. The solver knows the ranges that it's analyzing, and if I tell you that the big blind that the big blind can only call with ace queen suited and king king, of course I have to fold ace jack suited. So I think that explains the solver behavior. You might be explaining why it's a good idea in the real world to do this, but I claim that's not why the solver did it. The solver knows this. It knows the range.
Oh, I know. I know that. I know how the math works for a solver. But I'm also saying in the real world, you're likely dominated by at least one of the players.
Yes. Yeah.
But there's significant dead money in the
or
as well. I mean,
even,
you are.
even
I mean, I think you do ultimately want to increase your 4-bet bluffing range into one range that's capped and another that's, we can assume, a normal 3-bet.
Larry, 4-bet bluffing range from which position? We didn't hear you at the beginning.
Oh, sorry. So I would think that in this situation, it's profitable to increase your 4-bet bluffing range in hijack due to the dead money and the fact that big blind is somewhat capped when he flats a 3-bet.
Okay. Right. You're saying that the big blind you're playing against does not have this range because this ain't no capped range. That's what you're saying, Larry? That's what Larry's saying. I've declared since Larry's
And he's king.
is bad. Yeah.
Can you guys not hear me again?
Now we can hear you. Try it again. Okay.
Sorry, guys. I got a bad internet today. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You found great.
Sorry about that.
Okay. So you're saying that you think in the real world, the big blind's range is nothing like this, that it's a capped range.
Okay, Larry, let me ask you a question. Would you call ace jack
Yes,
off?
I think this is a very, can I just finish my response first? I think
Yeah.
that this is often set mining is very common here, and I think this is something we see commonly in the real world is someone flats behind a 3-bet. And I think it's often set mining that is going to fold to a 4-bet.
Okay, let's go back to the GTO wizard,
Okay.
please. And go. I understand Larry's debate on it.
Yeah.
Let me
Larry
point,
wants to increase his 4-bet bluffs from the hijack.
all right, let me point something out. Go first to the cutoff range, that 3-bet. I also want to surmise that population does not 3-bet this wide. So while the big blind has a tighter range than we expect to see, I also can say with almost 100% certainty that our opponents do not have this wide of a range versus our open.
I think that's a fair argument. I think this
Yep.
play is ultimately player dependent, not as much on the big blind, but on the cutoff.
And
Gotcha.
then my next follow-up question is anybody going to call ace jack off in this pot?
Never.
Never.
Okay.
From the hijack.
So
No,
when we call, there's 80 big blinds in the pot and 125 left over. So is there flush value to call with a suited hand then? In a less than 2-to-1 SPR?
That's a good question. We are only getting what? Only 3% more.
so the answer is some, but not a lot.
Does the fact that it's multi-way increase the value of our nut draws?
Yes.
Yes. So even if we double the SPR, it's like 1.5. So even if we double to account for 2 possible stacks, might get in if we hit the. So it's 3-to-1. That's still not a great position for something you're calling as a drawing hand.
Yeah. And I think what you're saying, the fold right between there, I think is that ace jack off, ace jack off folds, ace jack suited doesn't call, but ace queen off folds and ace queen suited does. So it's enough to push it up. If you're close, it pushed it up. This isn't close. But this is wheel and flush draw value down here.
Yeah, but most of them are in the 4-bet bluff area.
Yeah. Yeah. Ace three, not for the ace three. Ace five. Ace five does more calling than does more
with the
calling.
smaller SPR, I think the wheel draw does add a little bit more value.
Yeah.
And we also have to recognize that the solver will put that in for board coverage, where do we necessarily need to worry about board coverage versus level 1 players who aren't thinking about the range of hands we have, only what they have.
Much less. Larry, I have a question for you. When you were proposing increasing your 4-bet frequency from the hijack, more than this, or just more than you initially thought?
Yeah, I think this range makes sense.
Yeah, because this looks like enough to me.
Yeah, I don't think any more than this.
Yeah.
I think it's really dependent on the qualities of the cutoff.
Yeah.
mean, do you have a good player who three bets at a high frequency?
Right.
Then I think, yeah, you go to
Yeah.
a four bet
And
range much like this.
who can fold to your bluffs.
And yes, it's capable of folding.
Doing a quick look here in DTO, it was reset. We can go back to, well, here we go. So this was a hijack raise, or this is low jack hijack. What was the hand? This was hijack cutoff. So hijack raised, fold, hijack raised, cutoff three bet, button folded. It was the big blind, whose range is also not going to include queen 10 suited. This DTO gives them 0 calls in this configuration. That's fine. And
Oh,
we
if we're
have,
heads up, ace jack suited is in there.
oh, you mean you're saying if the big blind folds?
Yeah, if the big blind folds, I'm
Yeah.
not folding ace jack suited.
Yeah, right. We'll get to that. I'm just looking. Did we have another range here? Did we have a bigger stack size? Let's check this one. Let's get us up to 150. See if we can get a call in the big blind from these guys. So fold, raise, three bet, fold, big blind.
No, they didn't program any calls in.
No, they didn't put any calls in. So we're done with how the ace jack plays back. Yep. But against
Well,
a fold,
if we
against a
fold,
fold, hijack certainly is gonna. Yeah, ace jack suited is just fine against one player.
because now with the fold, the SPR is going to be a little larger too.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
now there's going to be 58 with 125 behind it. It's a little over 2-1.
Yep. Still out of position though. Yuck. Okay.
All right, so
And
how'd
the
hand
queen 10 bluffed it. Queen bluffed the turn and took
Oh,
it.
that's right. That's right.
All right. Ace four suited raises, 9-9 calls, and 7-8 calls. In a $5 game, 7-8 calls.
Get me that ignition code.
Yeah. Anybody want to play the $500 ignition fast game? Right now I want to. You want to know how much money I lost in the $500 ignition fast game?
How
And I'm
bad is
back to
that
turn
call, though?
50.
How bad is that call?
This call? Very bad,
Terrible.
I think.
All right.
Are you talking about the 7-8 off on the
Yeah,
big line?
7-8 off. I think it's very bad.
I mean, so 7-8 suited and the double gappers are, you need to be suited here. This is not a call.
But a
Yeah,
7-9, 7-9 suited is fine.
when does our offsuit begin to what's the cusp of, like, what's the bottom in the big line of offsuit? I'm guessing maybe king queen, maybe jack 10 offsuit. No.
We don't have any we don't have any three big blind charts anymore. Even the poker coaching one is now 2.5, I think, isn't it? Poker coaching, cash game 6 max, stack size 100. Yeah, even this is now 2.5s.
Yeah, the 7-8 suited is negative 0.25.
Yeah. 7-8 suited or offsuit?
Offsuit.
Yeah.
7-8 suited's a call.
Yeah. 7-8 suited, I assume 7-9 suited is a call.
Yeah.
6-8
Yeah.
suited is a
And
call. Yeah.
and what is the worst offsuit hand we call?
In this, king jack off.
King jack, king queen, maybe king. I don't like king jack.
Raise. We have no calls in the
There's
cutoff,
two of us.
so we're moving it into the button.
Yep. Yeah, my first guess was king queen off, but we could be revert.
Well,
There's
Yeah.
GTO Wizard has king jack off,
Yep.
mixing calls and
Yeah,
three
I think
bets.
GTO Wizard's a bit wider here. I
And-
think it has
and-
more suited gappers.
And ace jack off is in GTO Wizard too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not folding ace jack off to a single raise and a call.
Yep.
Probably not. Yeah.
But look at the folds here. Look at the folds in that middle area.
Yeah, even 9-7. Okay, even
That,
9-7.
Poker coaching has. All right. So we're going to be able to analyze this hand by putting the nines on the button and moving him.
Larry, remind me when you talked to, did you talk to Jared about the PC coaching? Which ones are rake and which one is no rake?
Um, so this was Justin Saliba, and 6 max is raked, and the 9 max is not raked, built
Or
in HRC,
8 max.
or 8 max. Yeah,
So 6 max, all the 6 max solves are rake. Okay.
that's my understanding.
No, I had a question about that last week in the Discord, and I couldn't remember which.
We
Yeah,
wanted
Justin
to,
Saliba is the soothsayer on that one.
yeah, and we wanted to look at one thing. We wanted to jump ahead to one thing real quick, which was we wanted to look at this hand with the ace nine in the cutoff instead of the low jack. We just wanted to see what that changed. So I'm going back to the 6-6 hand really quick.
To look at the pre-flop.
They're looking at post flop.
Okay.
When we did the 5 deuce deuce here, we did the 5 deuce deuce and we looked at it in the low jack configuration. He's in the hijack. We wanted to look at it. We wanted to look at both low jack and cutoff to see if that changes anything. So good luck in remembering what it was. But we go here. So
Oh, you mean the board?
yeah, I mean, no, good luck in remembering what we learned on it. But we're back to 6 players, post flop, 3-way, cutoff, 5-5 deuce, same hand. So we got the same hand.
I thought we did look at cutoff before.
No, we looked at low jack, and
Okay.
then we said now look, and then we skipped and didn't go to cutoff. So
Okay, you just want to look at the different config. Okay.
check range again, cutoff here. He now has, in this situation, you did see the change. He has even less betting. I think, if my memory.
No, it was check range before.
Yeah, this has
Check
betting.
range.
The other,
Okay.
low jack configuration was no betting.
But
You're
his
right.
ace nine suited is not betting.
Is
Yeah.
anybody surprised that we do have betting here? I find it surprising.
We have
Against
more now.
No, I thought the low jack would have some betting because of the 2 on the board.
Yeah, it's because the 2's such a brick.
Yeah, a paired board with a 2. I thought the low jack would have
Okay.
more bet. The low jack was check range, and that shocked me. This having bets does not shock me because I would expect some.
Okay.
This is a huge piece of why maybe. We know how
yeah, that's that's it.
King
That's
5
exactly
pure.
why. Good catch.
Yeah. These two went
So
pure and they weren't in the low jack. This range wasn't pure for DTO Wizard.
can you make this? This is absolute, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got, yeah. If
Yeah.
you've got the nuts, then and cutoff doesn't have the nuts here, or
Yeah.
button doesn't have the nuts.
Yeah.
Well, he does, but he doesn't have the offsuit.
Right. Here's the thing. DTO doesn't give the low jack the king 5 suited. It gives him a fair amount of queen 5 suited, and of course the no ace 5 offsuit. King 5 suited is well represented in GTO Wizard in the low jack. It's about 75%. But
When you add the offsuit versions in cutoff,
when you have the offsuit, that's 12. That's 12 combos right there, and it's almost pure. Go back to just so we're comparing the same thing to the same thing. I want to go in DTO Explorer. That's my post. Yeah. Okay. So I want to be in DTO Explorer pre-flop, 6 players, 100 big blinds. And for them, no king 5 at all. And 6-5 being there. Whereas they give the cutoff, and this is how they give the cutoff, king 5 pure, 6-5 almost pure, and ace 5 at 80%.
And there's more 5-4.
More 5-4. Yeah. So a lot more 5s. That's the difference. Now our board didn't have a 5 in it, so none of that matters to our board, but just to the world. So now let's play the rest of it out.
Yeah, because the 3-3-2 would be different because nobody has a lot of 3s either.
Right, exactly. We don't have the king three. We don't have the ace three.
So
So
that's why I was wondering if we would bet, if we would have bets there, because now nobody has the threes and we have the overpairs.
yep,
So I
we
wonder
don't
if
know.
that changes our.
In game, I would have probably decided to try to bet, but
So we're gonna get a check. We're gonna get a check here, and now go back to relative for it. Same thing. We get mixes here. We have no queens there. Jacks at 47%, tens at 41%, nines at 38%. So this is pure linear with a jump at 45 with the eights. And it goes reverse. Okay, I don't want to even talk about this. Reverse linear 6, 7, 8, and then linear Jack 10, 9. So it's a hammock. So if we start seeing the hammock regularly, I will try to figure out with you guys what the hammock does. But that's our word for it. We saw a hammock.
So is the hammock sometimes called a boomerang? Or is it
No, boomerang is the boomerang, as long as we're using Louis' phrasing. The boomerang is this area here.
yeah, you don't see the boomerang as much in cash because that suited area isn't as used as prevalent as it is in MTTs.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So this one, we're going to look at this. The 7-8 is the wrong hand, but we're gonna go on with this. 7-8 should check range.
So you went to the cutoff range, but we didn't look at anything in the post flop in the cutoff range. In the solve. You got distracted and went back to pre-flop, and we didn't even look at the post flop.
Oh, okay. So we get a check. So here we go. Oh no, I did. I went to the button. I went to the button and it looked the button's action looked similar. You wanted to see what the cutoff, how he responds to it?
Yeah.
The big blind check, we went button bets. Now the big blind is going to fold his king 9, I believe it was, with the wrong suit.
Yeah, clubs.
Someone
Yeah, that
explain
would
the
be
queen
king.
10 to me.
That would have been the king 9 of hearts.
King 9 of
this
hearts, he
style.
just folds without a backdoor. So he folds. And now we get to the cutoff with his ace 9 with a backdoor. All the ace 9s call with a backdoor to the small size. So him calling to the medium size, reasonable.
I wish we could tell if it was indifferent. Looks like it starts getting indifferent at the set. Well, the 7 and 6 are also connected to the 5.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. We don't know the EV. Let's wait a minute. Let's click on it and see if do we get any other information? Nope. We just get the percentages. All right. And then we know what's going to happen on the turn. So he calls correctly.
Yeah. No, we don't have to watch because the turn we all know.
Turn is a fold. Yeah, the turn's a fold. All right.
So
Here, check range, including the 9-10, including the nuts, including the 9-10 of hearts, including the ace deuce of hearts with a draw, including the vulnerable 8, including the set of 8s, just check range. But if you're that big, you're going to get a check raise in, which you're going to go for. This board, I think Hero has, oh, it's me. This is bad. I think Hero has some bets here, but not with his hand. And the 9s, I think the 9s marginal, the fact that this hits the other ranges, that this should consider itself marginally made and not a betting draw. I think he should check behind and try to realize his equity. That's what I think happens on the flop.
I think you're right. I think a check raise with the 9s really stinks.
He bets, and once he bets,
well, I think this is essentially third pair. I think third pair can turn themselves into a bluff in a multi-way pot.
Okay.
What's kind of interesting, it's third pair with the gut
especially with
shot
the
blocking
gut
the
shot.
flush draw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of an interesting hand.
Yeah, we'll take a look. We don't like the size. We want this to be more like 3.14. 5297. The 7-8 multi-way has just got to fold. Bottom pair in the sandwich against a hand with locked up equity. He's just got to fold, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, in the solver. This guy, I don't know that we get an instant fold from him if he calls pre-flop with that nonsense, but he does, and I have to fold. Okay. Let's take a look. This is going to be low jack. We're going to put me in the low jack and him in the and ace four suited. Yeah, we'll put me in the low jack and him on the button.
Yeah, because he should have a tighter range.
Yeah.
Than a cutoff button.
Post flop, 3 players, low jack, and the board we want is queen high. And we don't want
paired.
Yeah, we don't want paired, and we want queen jack 8 is what we want most.
Queen jack 6, maybe?
Yeah, the problem is it doesn't have lots of equity, but we'll go with it.
Yeah.
We don't have any that don't have, we don't have any with locked up equity. So, and now we're gonna give him a 6 with the 8. Yeah. But okay. Yeah, but now he doesn't have now the 9s don't have a draw.
Yeah, it's not as good. It's a lot different.
Yeah.
What if you tried
Maybe
rainbow?
you can include
What?
jack, like maybe jack 10, 7,
And just make
like if there's
everything up.
other
Yeah,
hands, jack high.
Yeah. Okay. We'll look in the cut. Let's look in the cutoff version and just see if that's got what it's got in terms of flops. Nothing. It doesn't have a single flop, so that didn't help it.
Just unclick high card.
Okay.
Just look at all the flops in total.
Okay.
Which one are we on? Is this low jack or
The low jack.
Oh, click connected. See if that helps us. We don't get any connected till like 986.
Yeah. We don't have anything in this range.
Yeah, this one might be unfruitful to look
Yep,
at.
we're done. Okay. King raises, ace 10 should fold and is going to call. Queen jack should fold and is going to call. $5 game, kids. All right. Having gone, queen jack should check range. Just to say our heuristics out loud, the initial raiser has some bets on all boards. It has some bets across some boards. Then you look at the board and say, is this a board which I can bet? I have no ace 9 off in my range here from the hijack. Is that right?
I hope so.
I think that's right, but you do have suited ace 9, king 9, 8 9, 10 9.
Yeah, I've got those 9s. And I actually have a split in the hijack, ace 4, king 9. There is like a sliver of ace 9 in GTO Wizard in the hijack, I believe. Let's just check that.
I think that this board with the hand we have, the king.
Look at it. Look at it. That's at 150. Go on. You were saying.
Versus population, I think we can exploit and just bet.
Yeah. This is, oh yeah, hijack. Here we go. Look at it. Look at that little bit of ace 9. There's supposed to be some ace 5 here also at 25% in the hijack. Where is
I wouldn't
that?
open it.
I know, but where's the assumption? What assumption is different here?
It's you're at a 2 big blind raise, right?
Oh, thank you. I want to be at 2.5. There we go. Look at the ace 5 coming in. Just so you know, a little bit of ace 9 offsuit. A little bit like, so that's 6 combos right there. So we have 9s. That's the answer. We do have 9. So I believe we have some betting here.
So what's the argument? Okay. That's fair enough. We have enough nines to get away with it.
Yeah, to have some betting.
Can we
That's
argue this is a semi bluff?
when we bet the
Pocket
kings.
kings?
No, we're betting for value.
Okay,
And
I asked the question because we've got a paired board and we don't have the trips. So that's why I'm asking the question.
Who should have most of the nines here? I'm guessing the big blind is gonna have suited nines, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, those kind of hands.
Well, just remember that all of the suited nines are in range for us.
Yeah, yeah, like opening in the hijack. Yeah, we have some. Yeah, we have suited nines too, but yeah, we have some. The big blind has some, but
Yeah, I might have a little bit of monsters under the closet syndrome here, but I'm not as comfortable as betting as you guys are here. Multi-way with a paired board.
To me, when I
yeah,
see, I know you have to be scared about somebody else having a nine or pocket sixes, but to me, when I see a paired board, I also see that my opponents missed it a whole crap ton.
And that's a good argument.
some to
I,
hit.
There's only two cards
yeah,
for them to hit, as opposed to three different cards.
so I feel yeah, and I get that heads up. However, multi-way, I feel a little bit more hesitant.
Right.
yeah.
The
It's just it's not like it's not super multi-way. Like we could like if you had like four or more players, and maybe we could start doing some checking depending on the position. But
We
A good
might
point, Skate.
we might find a paired board here
yeah,
in DTO to look at.
yeah, I think we do. The 9 is going to be underrepresented in the ace tens range
Yeah.
and villain threes range, and it's going to be reasonably represented in villain 20s range. So you see that. I think with this, I think the kings do some betting. I think that the king of hearts makes it bet more
More.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be more
out of
too.
the king of hearts. That's what I'm gonna guess. Um, and I believe the kings also do some checking, and I cannot make a guess as to whether it is reverse linear or linear on the aces, kings, queens, jacks, tens there. So I'm gonna guess hammock.
yeah, I
But
I guess
I also would not disagree that there is going to be checking with kings here
Mhm.
at a certain, maybe even as much as 50%, even if it's betting.
Right.
So if
mm,
anybody wants to check kings here, I'm never going to say they're wrong.
Right.
It's always going to be part of the solution.
Right.
I think we're
Oh,
might be wrong. I think we're betting more than checking. I mean,
okay.
Uh,
You think with the
uh,
kings, not with the range, right?
ye- yeah. I mean,
Okay.
mm,
Okay, good. Um,
I don't know.
right.
no,
Here's
it's
what I
going to
guess.
check a lot. I'm on team check a lot
Yep. And here's what
with
I guess
kings.
is going to happen in the game. Queen Jack is going to check. Kings are going to bet. Ace 10 might call, shouldn't. And Queen Jack is going to fold. That's what I think is going to happen. There's the
No,
check. Oh,
if ace 10 calls, queen jack's going to call too.
yeah. Yep.
I,
So,
I'm predicting a fish play as opposed to what we think should happen.
right. What I thought was going to happen was I thought Kings were going to bet out. And I thought the ace might call because of his ace of hearts. And I thought the queens then fold. The Queen Jack folds. But that's not what happened. It went check, check, and to the ace 10, who bets it. Now the Queen Jack needs to get out of the way in the sandwich without a heart. He does. And now the Kings, I wouldn't mind check raising Kings now. Nines are underrepresented in this range.
Yeah, yeah. You made a good
Yeah,
point previously that there shouldn't be too many nines here. But if he's
Yeah.
opening ace 10 off, he's fucking
Yeah, I don't if
I
villain 20 stays in, I'm certainly not check raising Kings.
I think it's the other way around. If villain 20 stays in, then you check raise more.
Yeah, but Kings?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll take a look at that. You
But
may
also it's going to be against a bet of like 2.7 as opposed to 5.7.
Yep.
And I think with the big blind folding, where Kings is mostly just going to call here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they ever have a nine with this. I mean, with this side. Well, at least less likely of having a nine, I should say.
Once you play kings like this, I think you're not playing it to trap. I think you're now playing it as marginal made. Meaning I don't think you check raise the turn now. It's not like you're trying to keep him in. You're let him bluff his bluffs and lose the minimum to his real value and beat queen and beat his queens, jacks, and tens happily. I don't
Yeah,
think
so this sizing is repping one.
I would
It's
lead
repping
on that
trips.
card.
and you're going to lead here because it completes a straight, it completes a flush.
We have the flush draw, and we still have an overpair.
No,
Yeah.
I disagree. I think that we could, by checking the kings, we allow our opponent to continue bluffing if
Yeah.
he is. I like
Yeah,
checking here.
I want to check even. I want to check now even more than I wanted to before, and I was checking before range. Let's see what he does. Let's see what he does. What he does is he goes for the check, and the ace 10 now tries to realize. Once he went for just a pure bluff, maybe he'll get there.
What
That's
about a
fun.
cheeky? I would like a cheeky blocker here, please.
This would be an interesting
No,
place
No.
to induce.
38 big blinds.
That's what the solver's going to be. 13 and just a fold.
So the solver's going to bet twice pot here, is what you're saying? Like you bet twice pot on the river here?
I think so, although I don't know what he's trying to get.
We won't know at the river. We won't know.
Well,
Yeah,
my
but
argument for a cheeky blocker is that
But-
he is now capped when he checks back on
Yes.
turn.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can also be STI against air, right? So
What's
he could
STI?
We'll
I
tell
mean,
you in a second.
I'm influenced by what he has, but he's going to turn a lot of it. He might, rarely, but sometimes turn his bottom of range into an imposition raise.
So BSTI stands for bet small to induce. And it is when you do a blocker bet, because usually you block bet with a hand that is often good and wants to get to the river cheap. And so when you block bet, you are very often saying, I would like 5 more big blinds, or I would like you to call with a lesser hand or even a better hand and only have to pay 5 big blinds. But if you raise, I'm going to fold. That's what you're kind of announcing with your blocker bet. And that's why you want to put
do this in practice?
Bet small to induce.
Yeah, I do
Against rest
BSTIs
player?
and absolutely nutted hands.
Can I also comment on that, though? I know
Yeah.
the solver will do that. However, we also do know from history that players do not raise the river often enough, even against an inducing size bet.
Yeah, like my whole strategy is
so I just go
raise.
for full value with this on the river.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't try to induce again in case I'm against that one small population that might raise me.
Yeah, I think my whole population is like,
No,
I can usually fold if they bet on the river.
You can't say the whole population.
Okay, but most of the people I play against is what I'm saying.
Right, that's what I would.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you have a valid argument. Just go for full value. Let's leave out the fancy play.
If you think they're that weak that you need to get a crying call, go for a third of pot or something like that.
Well, yeah, we know he's a little bit weak because he checked. It might be because the flush came in. But.
Yeah. So Dean commented. Dean was on team bet small to induce, and I'm on team bet small to induce against not all of population, but against a lot of people who I've seen. And I'm bet small to induce against Brazilians is what I want to say. That's mine. And then Dean said, when you do it, you're betting small to try to get called by ace high or get a spaz raise. That's what he's looking for. They also overfold on river, so super huge bet is equally the same as not getting raised.
Brazilians on YouTube, please comment below if that's a good play against you.
Obrigado.
Obrigado, yes.
Yes. Okay. And Brazilians, by the way, does not mean people from Brazil. It means people who are shaved, just to make that clear.
I thought Brazilian is waxing.
Waxing.
Oh,
Thank you. That's more accurate. Thank you.
Yep.
Waxing and not donking. All right, moving on.
Who plays? Who does anybody here play D&D?
I do.
Of course.
We came up with a homebrew spell, instant Brazilian wax.
All right.
4d6 damage, and you have to make a Constitution saving throw or fall prone.
This is going to be another one where we're going to compromise between the low jack and the cutoff. We'll start in the low jack. All right. 3 players, post flop, low jack. The board is 699. So let's do a paired board, other high. 699, baby.
nice.
Oh,
It works out that way.
and look at the suits. Look at the
That's
suits.
996. Oh.
Yeah, man. We hit pay dirt on this one.
We are good. Okay, great. So big blind.
Check range.
range. We got that. Okay. Low jack. We said, well, we don't need to repeat what we said. We remember what we said. And here are the bets. This is a bet board where you get to bet some. And
Is it me or is this a lot less spending than we've seen? Oh, this is low jack. Sorry.
this is low jack.
Okay,
Low
sorry.
jack. Never has a lot of betting.
Yeah, sorry. I'm thinking about imposition.
Right. So his 7 of it and 8s with a straight, not a straight draw, sorry. Just bigger, just a pair bigger than the 6s. Do some betting. 6s. So there, and then let's look at the overpairs and just see. We go to 13, 14, 18. So that's reverse linear. 22, oh, pure reverse linear. 23. Yep, that's reverse linear. There we go.
Yay. Okay,
We
there.
see one. I was wrong about the amount. I guessed hammock. But there, and we don't need to explain why.
I have no clue what you mean when you say hammock. And
Hammock,
why you picked that term.
hammock was what we saw on the last one, where aces bet more than kings bet more than queens. So it was linear. And then jacks bet more than queens, and 10s bet more than jacks, and 9s bet more than 10s. So it went linear and then reverse linear on the pairs. So it was a hammock. 2 high points with a low point in the middle.
Got it. I'm with you.
Okay.
Right. And when the hammock is, when jacks are the bottom of the hammock, that's called the banana hammock. If we get to see that. Bring
Nice.
that. Okay. So with this, his kings can bet, but notice mostly checking, and that's what he did.
And like I said, in population, where I think that the button will not bet as often as he should, I would probably bet my kings there.
Yeah. Okay. So he
But if
checked.
you know the button's going to bet as often as they should, then you check to them.
Right. So there's the button's bet. Ace 10 suited with the ace of hearts is what he has ace 10 offsuit, which he just shouldn't be there with in the first place. We said that.
Look at ace queen then.
So we'll give him ace queen with the ace of hearts. Bets pure, all his ace, it all bets. And when he has ace 10 with ace 10 of diamonds is similar. Ace 10 of diamonds is similar to ace 10 with a single heart. And it does a lot of betting. Oh no, that's the real ace 10 of ace 10 of hearts. Ace 10 of diamonds does almost none. So I think his bet was optimistic here. Because the ace queen at least is an ace queen. So that's my belief.
Yeah, but it's not really doing it with the diamonds that much.
No, let me show you what I mean. Let me go back. I did not make myself clear. We don't have ace 10 offsuit, so we can't see what the ace of hearts does alone.
Right.
Ace jack is the closest.
Oh, so he had hearts diamonds?
Yeah. And so I was going that. So now if you look at this, ace jack, this is the closest thing to it. Ace jack and ace 10, I'll call the same. So yeah, he bets here.
Okay, with the ace of hearts, he bets. All right.
Right. Even with the jack of hearts, he bets. With the 10 of hearts, maybe not. And then his ace queen is similar. Betting less with the queen than with the jack. Ace jack benefits from ace queen and ace king folding, and ace queen only benefits from ace king folding, and ace king doesn't always fold. That's going to be the reason, I guess, why ace jack bets more than ace queen.
Well, also the jack is more connected to the 9.
It is, but it can't make a straight. So what is it doing? It's just blocking. It's blocking jack nines.
It blocks jack 10, but jack 9.
Okay, it blocks those. All right, good point. I don't know which is more important, what makes it do this, but that's what it did. Okay, so he bets, totally reasonable. We see here, he bets large because he didn't study with this specific trainer. This hand, by the way, is now this was the 7-8. This was the what did he have?
Queen jack off, I think.
Oh, this was the queen jack off, right?
Yeah, the 7-8 shouldn't be folding there.
No, 7-8 isn't here. Right. So here he is with his queen jack off, which he doesn't have, which we said he shouldn't have. But with his queen jack suited, he folds it without the front door. Not even the back door calls from the sandwich. Right. There's his fold. And now pocket kings. Were they there for a check raise?
Mostly
A
call.
little bit. Mostly not. And here we go with 11% raising, 18% raising, 16% raising. So this is that weird thing that we saw there that we don't have a name for, which we will get a name for later, where kings is more than aces, but queens is less than kings. And then it goes linear, linear, linear.
So what's our check? So we're check raising more. We're trapping more than we're check raising with our 9x, right?
Yeah. We are.
I can definitely see why the aces. Go over aces again. Ace of hearts is pure calling.
Yep.
Now go over kings.
King of hearts is not. Because it's not.
That might be the difference, because when we have the ace of hearts, we're blocking a lot of his bluffing range.
Yeah, I like that.
Right. And then the kings are bigger than the queens because we mean to be going linear.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wants to be linear.
So there's not really a
it.
specific pattern there, except for that the ace of hearts doesn't want to bet.
Yeah, I think given that reason, I think this is actually going to come up on a lot of solves, and we're going to come up with a name for it at some point. But here's the important thing we have to look up. With our kings, when we have the king of hearts, 14% with the king of hearts, 21% without. So more betting without the king of hearts. And I said I would like to bet more with the king of hearts. So I was wrong.
So we're in the check. We're in the check raise space. We're check raising or calling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was betting it out, not check raising. I didn't look at the check raise space. All right, we're going back.
Yeah, I think So we're okay. So we're smooth calling more with the heart.
Yeah, we're going to here. Big blind is checked. Here we are with our kings.
No, that's where you were.
Oh, he's looking at.
Oh no, you're right. I'm back where I was. That's not where I want to be. I want to go back to the big blind. I want the big blind to check. Now I want to look at this. I want to look at the kings.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem to matter on this.
15% without. Close enough. But it's less often with the king of hearts. And I said more often. So yep, I'm wrong. And it makes sense why it is less.
It's always less often, because when you have you can always call with the backdoor flush draw, because you're a little less worried about getting drawn out on if a heart comes on the turn, because now you do have a heart.
Right. And I thought that reversed itself multi-way. and it didn't. Okay, good enough.
Yeah, I like that explanation. Having a heart,
Yeah.
we want to check because we want that, want to realize, and when the heart hits a
Wait, did
turn,
it?
then et
It
cetera, et
didn't go
cetera.
check, check, check. It went check, check, bet.
Oh, went too fast. You're right. I didn't put a bet in on the button. I meant to. Button. Are you gonna let me bet the button? Yes, you are. Button
Fold
bets, fold,
and
and now the
call.
king's call. Okay. Now we get the five of hearts.
And I surmise that we should have some sort of leading range here.
Okay. Let's take a look. And then we also are going to go back and see when the big blind calls with the nines, what that does to our check range frequency, and specifically with the kings.
I was
No,
wrong.
no leads.
Yeah, you mean on the five heart leads on with kings? I don't believe so.
He just thought we had some leads at all.
It shifted equity enough and it was heads up.
Nope. Check. And now his,
Wow, definitely didn't shift equity because look at the large bets.
yeah. And the ace of hearts now bets out pure. If you got here with the ace of hearts with your jack, which is the equivalent of what we have, you bet it.
Yeah, I didn't like his check on the turn.
Right. And with the queen, you can this is quite interesting here, actually, to me. Is your ace of hearts queen checks a third of the time. Your ace of hearts jack,
Go to absolute relative again.
right? You just never have the ace jack.
I think maybe the queen has something to do with, I don't know, maybe blocking the opening range of the kings.
I think it's that
Uh,
I think it's that it's how often you have it.
yeah,
I think ace
I
queen
don't know.
might be a better.
Yeah. Ace
The ace
king
king is good enough just to have showdown, I guess.
ace king has showdown. Ace queen would like to see an ace king fold.
Oh, so if we're thinking ace king has showdown, ace queen has a little bit less, but it's not fully. But then ace 10, when it's not in range, we could assume that it doesn't have enough showdown with the kicker.
Yeah. And the same thing that's what ace jack is doing here.
Yeah, so ace 10 should have probably bet.
Yeah, ace 10 bets there for that reason, but he checked, and now we're done. But you wanted to look at, but before we go away from this, we're done because that's as far as the solver will let us go. If he bet, the kings would not check raise here. He bets,
Oh no,
king,
not to a double barrel. I think he just
right,
called.
king of hearts just calls. All the kings call.
Do we want to see what happens
And
at the
queens are shook, my friends.
interesting?
That's horrifying.
So you want a heart with
Yeah.
queens.
And I was in this situation in with crazy sixes, and everybody said you got to call your queens, you got to call your queens, and I folded them to a bluff, and then we looked it up in the solver, and you had to have a heart to continue.
Was
So
this an attorney?
Huh.
it was a regular cash game thing that happened in real life.
Okay, so another question for you. Can we see what happens if he 2x pots with
Okay.
our overpairs?
Okay, let's see. Will you let me raise it? I got to go back. I think I have to click on it, and then I can 2x it.
Now,
Now,
now it's
Now
just
I
really
think you
about the
have to have
hearts.
a heart.
everybody needs a heart now. And jacks fold a sliver with a heart, and tens are gone.
Thanks.
Okay. Now because this was here, let's just look at the difference with instead of the low jack, let's look at in cutoff button. Same world, 996. Check range. Button now.
Now look at the cutoff now.
Oh, cutoff now. Thank you. Cutoff now. That's what I meant.
He has a little bit more betting because he has a bit more nines.
Yep. More betting. His kings. So the aces go 19%, kings 23, 20, 21, 29. Reverse linear off the queens with a bump at the kings. That's a pattern that is different than the other pattern. And that's all I will say about it because I have nothing intelligent to say. We wanted to, same thing with the kings. Nothing changed here that without the heart, we're betting 23% of the time. With the heart, we're betting a little bit less, minor less. Insignificant difference, but it is in that order. We check kings.
And give him a bet.
Button now has ace 10. This is good. Button has ace 10 now. So with a heart, pure bets. Either heart, even the 10. Ace jack. Mostly there. And ace queen. Yep. It's a function of showdown value.
Is somebody snoring?
That's probably the wind. But here you go with some showdown value things. King of hearts doesn't bother to bet. Most of them. Let's see. The ace king. Only the spade heart does it. The other king of hearts.
The only king of hearts that does not bet is the ace of diamonds king of
hearts.
Okay,
when we have the ace of diamonds, we don't bet it. Because that blocks the back door. That blocks the backdoor continue off the ace. But the king bets the least, then the queen, then the jack, and the 10 betting the most because of our reverse showdown value is what we think the argument is going on here. So he bets it. The wrong size, but absolutely good to bet. Queen jack folds. And the cutoff here. Very reverse linear here. 11, 24, 49, 53. And then the 10s drop down. So reverse linear from the jacks. And then the 9s are quads.
Yeah. I still like to call.
Right. Now we wanted to look at this, which was the one thing you want to look at, which was when we do the low jack configuration of this.
Do we get did you call?
I'll call him. There we go. So button bets, then we have a fold. There's the call. You get the 5. It's gonna be the same. This is gonna be no different. I don't think I think there's gonna be no leads from the cutoff. Yep, no leads from the cutoff again. And the button with his ace of hearts.
That's pure.
Yeah. And with a 10 of hearts doesn't. Okay. Ace of hearts bets half. I've got showdown value. I've got showdown value. I think that's the story that we're seeing here.
So yeah, I excuse me, my take on this is yeah, like I find these paired boards studying interesting. Because like yeah, I want to get better at knowing if when I should bet, when I should check, when I could bluff. Because other than, flush draw monotone boards or four liners, maybe one of the boards where opponents are kind of like monsters under the bed kind of syndrome is going to be paired boards. So maybe there's something to getting better at them.
Right.
Yeah, that's true, Skate. And the other thing is that, it's important to understand how wide a range your villains have
So here,
in reality,
yeah,
on a paired board.
Yeah.
And to
GTO
Joe's
versus.
prediction, the Kings went 18% when the big blind folded. When the big blind calls, the range goes more, but the Kings from 18% go less. Fewer raises from the Kings when the big blind calls. But the whole range, I think, will bet more. Range raises 10% without him, and with him, and without him, go back. Button fold. Sorry, we go back to here. We're on the flop. Redo the flop. Check, check, bet, fold. And now the overall range here, 8%. So you saw the difference there, Joey?
What?
So in this configuration, when the big blind folds, you're correct that our range raises less often than when the big blind calls. It went from 10%. It does 8% when the big blind folds, 10% when the big blind calls. But Kings do the opposite. And that was my prediction, that the Kings are less likely to check raise when the big blind calls there, and they were by about 2%.
Yeah, my prediction
Okay.
wasn't any check ranges from the. I didn't want to check raise at any of the Kings.
No,
in the
Oh,
solver, in the solver, it's different. But against population, I'm expecting that their betting range to be a little bit tighter
okay,
than the solution there.
good enough. All right. What else happened?
Where I was wrong is I surmised that there might be a possible betting range on the turn instead of checking.
Okay, right. This next hand at $5 went three-way with a raise. I'm gonna say ace 4 raised, ace 3 called, and 9-6 called.
I'm gonna say ace 3 raised. And I don't know. Never mind.
I was just gonna say that we can never discount the 7-2 from the button, but then I realized it's Scotty, and yes, we can.
Yep.
All right. No, ace 3 raises, 9-6 calls, 9-3.
Yes.
Insane. Right. And
Oh,
that's
surprising.
this is $5 fast. These guys do not respect a 2 big blind raise in this configuration. Okay. So he should check, he should check, he should check on the turn, then they should evaluate. That's what should happen. Check, check. Nope. He wants to bet his middle pair. The ace 3 should fold. His sizing is not terrible. That's still too big.
I think Baby Stack's going to lose its $150. Nope. What? What happened?
9-6 folded. Not quite sure why you call with 9-6.
And then fold when you
Fold.
fair.
That's good play. All right.
Just click me.
I think we don't put this in the solver.
I think that's best for our sanity.
Here's the one. Yeah, we don't even have this configuration of small blind, big blind, because if it's button, all the bets are out of order. All right, we're done.
I will say one thing talking about skate and paired boards. I mean, this is what I was mentioning when I said we have to be very aware of how wide our villains are playing. Right? If this was a non-paired board, all of a sudden we're in bad trouble with it.
Yeah, because they're calling wider ranges and etc.
Which means they're going to hit a 9 if it's a paired non-board.
Okay.
Oh, I know it's late to start it, but I just had an idea.
Yep.
Scotty, do you remember how Louis used to look at multi-way hands where it ended up heads up on the flop? Or I mean on the turn?
Oh, where he just went back and did it as a heads up pot? As a
Yeah,
three bet?
in GTO. I think we should one of these pots where we get heads up on the turn, just compare it to GTO Wizard
Okay.
to see if that is a valuable way to look at it after it gets heads up on the pot,
See how
on the
similar
turn.
the axes are. Okay. Sounds good. We'll try that on the next one we do. All right. We're not doing this one. All right. Jack Queen raises. Ace 8 calls incorrectly. 9-9 calls correctly. Queen Jack raising, by the way, is also correct. That's what I predict is about to happen on this hand. And again, $5, kids.
I
Raise.
predict it's going to be heads up against nines and villain 30, but
You think villain
heads
30?
up. Yeah,
Heads
heads
up?
up.
No, nothing's heads up.
Well,
They're all three. We know these all go multi-way.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what we're looking for.
he filtered for three-way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My prediction is ace 4 is the caller.
All right.
He's a broken stack.
There's a good point. Yep.
Yep, good point.
Oh,
No. He's the raiser. He 3-bets that shit to 3. This is
What?
not a thing.
Yeah, we can't look at this hand in the solver, but I'm interested to see how it plays out.
I don't think we
I
can
was
look at
just
this
going to
hand.
surmise if the ace 4 calls, if 9-9 should be 3-betting.
And 9-9 certainly got some squeezes in there. It's against the low jack. So that'd be a fun range to look at. But I
Yeah.
bet nines
that
plus
is
all does it
something to
sound.
look at. And I've learned that to a min raise, there's a lot more calling. And whereas if it was a 3 big blind or a 2.5 big blind, there's a lot more squeezing.
Yeah. Yeah, more money in there to get. Okay, so there we go. We can't play this one out, but let's see what it is. The worst decision is going to win the hand.
It should probably go check, check, check.
Yeah, what we know is that this guy should check here, but he doesn't. So he bets right out to, I believe, see where he is.
Yeah, I think that's what this is a lot.
Three better should check there, is what you're saying?
Yeah. No. Oh wait, you're right. He 3-bet. I'm sorry. I thought of it as a normal pot. No, he should. He shouldn't 3-bet to that size, but I guess the 3-better can bet on an ace king board. Sure.
Just an aside question for the group. So this one big blind 3-bet.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot more of these in game. Have you guys been seeing it all? This one big blind 3-bet stuff?
It's
Nah.
misclick. Maybe it shouldn't be. That's not a good sizing.
It's
I don't
horrible,
know.
but a lot of villains have been doing it recently. Like it's trendy. It's hot
I
right
haven't been playing online for like the past few months.
I have seen it live, and it's usually like the worst players doing it. Like the ones that have absolutely no clue. And this is just somebody hitting a raise button without even thinking about sizing.
So you're saying it's never a strong hand. You could probably exploit that and just like jam over the top, or maybe even 4-bet thing.
No,
Yeah,
I believe that there are aces in that range.
Okay.
I agree. Some people are going to do it because they just don't want to generate a fold.
And Larry, when you say the one big blind 3-bet, do you mean like the min 3-bet? Like in this case, a min 3-bet is one big blind, but had he made it 2.5, a min re-raise would be what, like 4? Like it would go to 4. So is that what you mean, or do you really mean like a one big blind re-raise?
Both. Anything below, 5 and below. I see 5 and below a lot.
I have seen the min re-raise a lot.
Yeah, it just seems
Not a lot.
to have
I
been
would
something.
should just say more than you should.
The only time where that could be valid is if the person doing that is very, very short stacked, which they shouldn't.
Yeah, so I've been seeing a lot, and I'm just curious if you guys have, and if we could draw some conclusions about.
I have seen it, and it has been a lot of very weak hands that you can go over. And I think, and I'm not sure of this, and aces.
I think it sometimes has aces.
But I might be wrong about my. Oh, go on, Joey.
I was just going to say, I remember seeing like the gamut of hands with a raise that's too. I would count like live. I would count like a four big blind raise here as min because some people just don't understand. The ones who are going to make that raise don't understand the rule and think it has to be double the size of the open. So I would count four big blinds into the same grouping as this.
Yeah.
And I've seen the gamut of hands. I've seen the top, and I've also seen the middle and bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
And Dean said, um, it's like he says it's like a limp range and the quick wars are coming back. And I do not remember it. I thought that we saw it with aces, but it may be that I just looked at it in game when I was live and I went, that could be, just thinking like, what hand it makes sense to do this? I go, well, I guess some people might do it with aces. I've seen the one big blind bet on the flop as a way of seeing if you're not willing to check raise my one big blind, you're weak. So it's one big blind and then a big bet. I've seen that. And I've also seen,
I see a lot of times they come back with a pot size bet.
yeah, but I've also seen one big blind, one big blind, one big blind for third pair. Boom, 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 like that.
Yeah, it's hard to understand what they're up to.
Yeah.
But I was curious if anybody else has seen it.
Yeah, I don't know if we can make a population thought about it, but we can definitely watch people in isolation and see if there's anything that third range is telling us about them.
Yep. After three betting, his bet here seems to make more sense, and the sizing seems bad. I mean, you think that he's going to bet once, right? He's going to bet once and see if someone has an ace. And if they do, he's going to give up if he gets a call.
I still think being out of position in a multi-way pot, he may still have a lot of checking here, even if he did check rate or three bet.
Let's look and see. Oh no, because we don't have when he three bet, we don't have any calls from this big. We don't have any big blind calls and sizing. All right.
Yeah, we can't really run.
Yeah. Okay. Jack's raise. Ace Jack calls, which is wrong, but not egregiously wrong. He should be in the button to do it, and it should be a raise or fold there. But Ace Queen has calls. Ace Jack might have a sliver, but I think we're doing versus the hijack now. And then the 5-3 is going to call, and that's not bad.
What about Ace 3? That should be an open from there.
Oh, Ace 3, Ace Jack calls, 5-3 calls. That's good. Maybe that's what it is. Yep. And it's a lot of two big blinds. Oh, get three bet pot, even better. Now I don't know how a third person gets in here.
I'm very confused.
This Ace Jack calling. I mean, this 5-3 should absolutely not call.
All right, 5-3 with an 18 big blind stack.
Oh.
You think they're folding?
No. No, it's the Ace Jack. Ace Jack's who did it.
Yeah, bad call.
Yeah, very bad. Very, very bad call.
See, I told you.
I'm hoping for the dog.
All right. What does the Ace 3 suited correctly do here to this?
Fold.
Fold.
Yeah, it's a fold.
Don't play for your flush draw value three-way in a massively multi-way pot out of position.
Well, we know it's a fold heads up, so I don't think I don't think the nutted value of the wheel draws enough. Yeah. The wheel draws enough.
We can't range in a solver because this doesn't exist. But you guys say fold there. Okay.
But you have a good point. I mean, so
Oh.
Wow.
You have a good point though.
Right.
That
this is me.
This is me.
I'm faced with this nonsense. I'm going to fold, I'm sure.
And I don't know if I blame you.
Yeah.
I think you're folding.
I'm folding.
You're probably going to fold.
What are you calling there? Aces and kings?
Screw it. Screw your Ace 3. I'm not folding.
Brass balls at NL 500. Get in. Let's go
I had to
hero.
read. What'd your HUD stats say?
My HUD says
crazy.
I have no information. I have no information unless, let me take one thing. No, I could have information about this guy, and here's why. you can't get HUD stats in the fast game, but playing at the NL 500, there weren't that many players in the pool. You can track them by their stack size.
Right.
So I could know something about, well, I could have seen this guy make a move earlier
Yeah.
for this.
So this is ignition, right?
This is ignition.
Okay.
So 5-3 for 11.
Let's go hero.
I think the 5-3 might consider calling.
It almost got checked on.
He kind of has to call now.
Kyle assumes that his stuff is live, right?
He did.
He thinks his threes are live.
Yeah, he thinks both of them are live. All right. There we go.
Oh.
Woohoo!
All right, we're done with this hand. This hand is over. I don't need
5-3 is thinking Vegas on the Mirage.
Is he gonna get there?
Of course he's gonna get there.
The suspense is killing us, Scotty.
So much equity.
I lose to both of
Oh my
them.
gosh.
I lose to both players.
Check out. Oh, well.
There we go. All right. Jack on the river does. Oh, no, Jack on the river does help me. I had full house outs. There we go.
5-3 is cursing these donkeys.
Right, so that's a that is a $500
with 5
that is a $500 hand right there. All right. Three-way. Ace-6 raises, 8-6 calls, Queen-7 calls. That's what happens. What should happen is Ace-6 should raise, 8-6 suited should fold, and Queen-7 suited should defend, and it should defend by calling, almost never raising against the button with a Queen-7 suited.
Yep.
Ever, like almost never. I think it's actually 0 in GTO Wizard. There's your raise, there's your calls. Just to check my GTO Wizard memory. Fold, button raises a 6 pure. Yep, there's the raise. Small blind, 8-6 suited. Such a fold. Even when you have a calling range, such a fold. And big blind in the right thing with his Queen-7 suited, 100% call. Come on, baby. Now I'm wrong. Mostly calls. Oh, of course. I now remember this shape. It's against the button. What is this doing there against the button? Oh, it's that against the button. That's right. Now I remember. Okay. Yep. I remembered that wrong.
Yeah, maybe if it was against the cutoff open, maybe we don't have that Queen-7 there.
You've definitely got it against the cutoff. The cutoff, it looks like this. Yeah, you got a lot of it against the cutoff. I was remembering against the small blind. I was remembering this shape. I haven't studied these in 3 weeks. I've been editing a video, but this is the shape I was remembering. And I just got it. All right. Mostly we can't probably. Click wars are coming back. Gangster looks squeezy unless you know they're an OMC that only does this with ace king. Old man coffee that only does this with ace. Why would any other ace king ones fold? Right. As another ace, right. This was Dean talking about the 3-bet, that little min 3-bet.
No, he was talking about the squeeze over the ace-3.
Oh, that one? The ace-3 suited? This hand?
I think so.
Who was talking about?
The ace-3?
Yeah, yep, that's what he was talking about. Yep. He says it looks squeezy. Well, that's what I thought. All right. So this hand, which is wrong, we will not be able to analyze, but we can at least see how it's played. Flop comes. 6-4 deuce. What we've learned says 6 should check. Queen set. Well, we don't have. We can.
Yeah, we don't have small blind.
We can surmise that the blinds should both be almost checking range in the world. But he bets out, and he bets big, and his logic is very clear. What he's thinking: I have the best hand right now, and I will not have the best hand on the next card. I would like everyone to fold.
This doesn't hit. He assumes it doesn't hit anyone. So
Doesn't hit anybody. And he also assumes that that if he checks here and it checks around, he's going to lose on the next card.
there are no good cards for him.
That's what he says. There are good cards for him, though. The
That's what
5
I'm
is
saying.
not bad. The 7 is not bad. The 8 is great. Another heart is good. A 2 and a 4 are okay. A 3 is bad. Yeah, but most cards are bad for him. He bets the queen 7 just has to fold, and the ace 6 should absolutely not fold. Should he raise?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, he's kind of donk repping the flop straight, so I think we call.
He's donk repping a 6, pocket 7s, pocket 8s, and pocket 9s, right? And
Yeah,
against that range, we should just call. That's what he's repping in value, isn't he?
Yeah, in solver range, he's repping just a straight or an overpair, like a smaller overpair.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's repping a straight.
Well, in Solverland, he has no donks. 3-way, we think.
No, exactly.
True.
We think. All right. So good call from the ace 6.
Yeah, I think it's a good call.
Queen.
Don't you think that big blind would be more than likely in the real world, maybe checking back on this flop versus betting to let the button catch up somewhat? So like when he bets the flop, I don't.
No, Skate, absolutely not. I'm not saying he should bet here, but you're saying let the button catch up. No, no, no. Because the button catching up beats him.
Yeah, yeah, you're probably
It's
right.
not like he has 2 pair or a set here.
He has a very fragile hand.
Yeah. If he had the straight, if he had the 2 pair here, then the
Yeah.
idea of saying, let me give this guy some rope makes sense. But we've learned that the logic of I have the best hand now, so let me bet before it gets worse, multi-way is not a good logic from out of position like this.
Right. Okay. Like
Yeah.
Okay. So the hand is 3-way, not 2-way. Okay.
Hand is 3-way. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
This is the fine. I mean, heads up, put the 6-8 suited in the big blind where he can call this, put the ace 6 on the button, get this flop, and the 6-8 donks out. I'm fine with that. 2-4-6 is a donking board. This is a donking hand, everything about it.
Okay.
Right. This is not and is this a donking size?
No,
I haven't learned donk. So do we donk big when we donk?
no,
Anybody?
no. Dunks are always small.
Donks are small.
No.
So yeah, so this is bad. This is bad because it's multi-way. This is bad because he called pre-flop, and this is bad because of his sizing.
Yep.
And ace 6 should.
Do you have a donking range ever?
Me? No.
Yeah. No.
There is one. There is one, and it makes sense. And this is why I have chosen not to learn it. First, I have a bunch of other stuff to learn before that. Second, although it's not that hard to learn the donking range, this is either Larry's point or Josh's point. I think it's Larry's point, right?
I'll take
I would
credit.
let Larry make it. Is your internet connection good enough to make your point, Larry?
Sorry,
It's
I hope
it's
so.
actually
Can you
Jeremiah
guys-
Williams.
Okay, Larry's going
Can
to
you
make
hear
his.
me okay?
Yep, make
Yeah,
your point.
So the argument of, well, I asked 2 people this, Jeremiah Williams and also Phil Gaffond, who's having asked me anything on Twitter. And essentially the argument, my question was, clearly we see a donking range on certain textures from big blind on flop. Does it make sense for us to integrate that into our game? And the answer was no, for 2 reasons. One, there's more profitable parts of the game tree to spend your time studying. And 2, well, it is easy to understand our flop donking range. These game trees get very complicated when you go beyond flop because the position player call.
Yep. And so that's why I have chosen not to even try to learn it yet.
Okay, fair enough.
But I do want to recognize, but when we go through the exercises, I want to at least recognize and say, this is a donk board with a donk on it. Is this a donk hand? Yes, I'm not donking. Also,
And
the other
also,
yeah.
And also, like this is a big blind donk board. When you're talking about the solver ranges, there are small blind donk ranges. This is not it.
Right.
But there have been, we've seen it in our study sessions, and they're typically those middling like 10 high type boards, a little bit more higher up the boards is when you see the small blind donking into the pre-flop raisers.
Right. And I don't think that I believe that while there were donk boards that were donk range, there were no boards where any hand donked 100% of the time. That's my memory.
There are
So
pure donk textures. Well, not pure, but there's high for
yeah, there were high
donk.
ones, and I was looking at them. It's like every hand on this chart donks, but I couldn't remember any hand that donked pure was my memory. But uh, I could be completely wrong about that. I could just be wrong. All right, moving on. So Joey has a donk range.
The reason I implemented it is
Yeah.
what happens when you get donked into when you're not expecting it?
Probably overfold.
Unless you have the nuts or near nuts, you're like, what the fuck do I do with this?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's why I do it. I want that reaction from my opponents sometimes.
Okay,
That's fair. That's a good argument.
go with that. Um, on this hand, this call is easy. When the queen comes, uh, does he want to turn second pair now into a bluff? He doesn't. And the ace-6 should check behind. He should be happy to get there, but he decides to bet small for value, saying that this is no longer sevens or eights. And I guess he's going to check river if he gets called. Oh no, that's going to happen.
Oh,
I didn't see that coming. And you guys
He's
see this coming?
he's saying, I'm the only one with the straight. You don't have a straight. I've
Yeah.
got the ice queen. You don't have no ice queen.
Yes. And now this, by the way, if you were looking at why the $5 game is soft at how badly people were playing pre-flop, this is something that I did see. I remember this when I was playing in this higher stakes. I keep calling it the $5 game. It's the $500 game. It's the
When you say
$5.
$5, you mean like 2.5?
2.55 is what this game
Oh,
is,
okay,
and
okay. All right.
it's fast.
Okay, good.
And this is not like 2.5 live. These are better players than 2.5 live. And although we saw all this nonsense pre-flop, and now looking at it going, I can beat this game. Am I kidding? I remember this being different in this game than it was at the 1-2, and certainly different than in the other one. So yes, Bernd, we can see your test. Um, with that, I guess you have to fold the ace-6. Yeah, he's in
Maybe he
small.
gets to call and bluff a flush.
but we're holding the ace, especially. I think it's a fold, especially holding the ace of diamonds, maybe.
Yeah, he
Right?
doesn't have we limit his we limit his diamond check raise bluffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Push him away from that. Yes. Yes, he's in the small blind. He shouldn't have 3-5. But he also shouldn't have 8-6. So he can have whatever he shouldn't have, this particular guy.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm not giving him. I basically for value just giving him sets, but
Yeah.
maybe he's an overplayed like sevens, eights, nines, or something that he flatted on the small blind.
All right. Bye, Joey. Feel better. All right. Moving on.
So yeah, how is this? I guess the ace nine flats here.
Yeah.
Broken
So
stack flats.
I fold. I didn't open this. King 6 opens ace 9 flats, 8 flats. Yeah.
I like that as a band name, Larry.
Yeah.
A good rock band name.
Which
Broken
one?
Stack Flats.
Broken stack flats. Yeah. All right. King 6 raises properly. Ace 9, this is a fold. This is just a fold. So he calls, but having seen the calls, eights, I'm gonna say there's some squeezing with eights here, and it's not pure. He goes for the call. Let's check that out. Let's check out some squeezing for the eights using the wizard. Button raises. Small blind has a calling range. Big blind with his eights.
Maybe nines more.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
nine's more.
eights.
So
Oh, that's pure.
yeah, nine's pure. So nine's plus pure, and then this real value here, and then this fake value here. And then your wheel aces, and then a lot of nonsense.
Never find that.
I'm gonna find some of this.
Need to find it.
I will be learning this at some point. I like it. All right, but he doesn't do it this time, and that's perfectly fine. Most of the time it isn't. And so he is basically set mining and playing for hopes, checks, because he's never going to get to the river with bets happening. There's just so few boards he can. This is one of the ones he can. Ace nine should check pure here. I don't know that he will. Since he made the other mistake, I think he probably will bet out. Nope. Eights probably have a few bets on this board. They were nope, they weren't the razor. He should be checking pure. There we
Do
go.
we think ace nine is going to find a check raise here?
With the ace of clubs? He might.
Yeah, I bet he does.
Yeah.
I bet
I
this
wouldn't
player
mind it.
does.
Now
I
is
wouldn't mind it at all.
King six going to bet his second pair? He does. And again, we're seeing all these bet larges,
Yeah.
which the bet large should push him a little bit down from his check raise frequency, but never fold.
Hmm.
Goes to the call, and the eights can get out of there. Eights with a club? Do you want to call eights with a club in this situation?
I was wondering.
In theory, I
Not for the
think
big size.
heads
Probably
up
not.
it's a call, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure about multi-way.
Yeah.
Same.
And we don't have and we can't analyze this situation. We don't have this one.
Yeah.
But I like the
Eight
fold.
with the club to a small size might be okay.
Yep.
Maybe.
Now ace nine should check again. King six should give up and take his showdown value against flush draws in 7-8 and 7-10. Which of these does he have? I guess he has 7-8 and flush draws. Yeah, checks. Great. And now with two pair, ace nine.
I think he's gonna check and let the button. I don't know. Button catch up.
Yep.
So this is a
Lots of
situation where I think, well, I'm curious what you guys think. Did I interrupt you, Scotty? Sorry.
Oh no, go.
I think this is a situation where betting big is really good because if you look at the action, so a lot of times people are going to see that range in position here. And also, even though you're blocking it, a lot of people are going to float their aces, just like this guy did.
Yeah.
And now you're going to get value from ace king, ace queen, ace jack.
Could you get a check raise in against those guys though? Aren't they going to bet the ace?
Maybe that's a better play.
Yeah.
You are blocking those hands, but I mean, I don't know.
He's blocked. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like the check more to sort of induce, because like if I bet, he's only gonna call with worse.
Yeah, I could see both. I like betting big here because he has so many floated aces, even though it's obviously there's only two left. He's got a lot of floated aces now that you're going to get value from a big bet.
Right. I don't want to bet small here.
Yeah,
I don't
I
wanna-
like a P75 of pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like big bet or maybe check.
I want
I'm
to
not
go.
sure.
I want to go pot because I want to go pot with my bluffs also.
Yeah.
When my bluffs have enough oomph, and I don't want to be betting. I don't want to bet 75% with my value and 100% with my bluffs, and I don't want to bet 100% with my value and 75% with my bluffs. I don't want to do either of those things.
Yeah, like
But-
where I was talking about BSTI before after check turn. I think
Yeah.
this is not I think this is a big bet situation.
Yeah. And I think I want to check this one because I think his floated aces, and I say float, he bet the flop. I bet his C-bet aces that check the turn, bet the river having got there, that they're happy. Um, and they can still get value against some of my hands. And his hands that are not aces, this ace is such a good bluff card for him because it's so good for his range.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, I think that's also a valid play.
Yeah. So that's what I think I want to do. And he does. And this is the one hand that it doesn't work against, unless he's going to try to turn a 6 into a bluff to try to get 7s, 8s, and 9x to fold, which he doesn't. So it doesn't work. But that's what I went for. All right. Next multi-way hand. What should happen on this hand? We saw this hand already.
Fold.
Yep.
We saw this hand already.
Fold.
We're at the end of the list. Yep, we're at the end of this list. All right. So now we'll go down in stakes and see how it plays. This is $2, and this is a regular ring game.
How many hands have you played at NL500?
Total? I don't know without turning off the filter.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah. All right. Dean says we block his flush continues, so he's loaded with hands like he has overpairs. Our range was polar with flush draws and good stuff. So, Dean, does that lead you to want to bet out big, bet small, or check to induce? All right. We are going to see some bet big or check mix. Okay. Those make sense. All right. Let's go all the way down to where I lose money. Let's make sure we get all the losses in here. This was the $500 hand. This was the
Jackson.
This was some blue line there. Replay hands. Go.
I mean, the jacks was a good call, right? I mean, did you regret the call, or you're like,
No,
okay,
I regretted the
no, it's fine.
result. Regret nothing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't regret having to show that hand either. I feel fine with having shown it. All right. We're going to leave the HUD up because it probably gives us some information. We got 45 hands on these guys.
Again, it's hard to see. I guess the 8-7 is going to flat with the broken stack.
Let me tell you what these HUD stats mean real quick because they're not standard. 16 is the V part of VPIP. 14 is the P part. 5 is the calling a raise, and 17 is the 3-bet. And 50 is the 4-bet. Okay, so that's what that is. So villain 50 has had 2 chances to 4-bet, and he did it one of the times. What should happen on this hand? Fold, 5s, raise or fold, and in the hijack, 5s are still mixing. In the wizard, the 5s are, in the hijack, the 5s are only an eighth in the wizard. They're like
12%.
Yeah,
that's what
like
I was going to say, 12%.
16%. They're in the 16% range in the wizard, but in the DTO, I think they're 100%. Let's see if that's true. So the wizard, hijack, raising range. The 5s are 22%. I said 16. Sorry about that. And in DTO world, other DTO, here we go. In DTO world, we are playing pre. Here's our regular pre-flop world, regular. We are 6-player. Yeah, 6 players. 6 players, the hijack, I believe. Yeah, they go pure with all. DTO really likes the small pairs. And the low jacket. I'm going to show you the 9-handed DTO one real quick because it's so different than GTO. And when I say GTO, I mean GTO Wizard, not GTO Theory. Okay, so that is here. 9-handed. The 9-handed rake is the NL 500 rake. And here we go. 9s and 8s in the, under the gun. 9s pure, 8s mixing by the tree, by low jack -1, You're already playing eights pure, sevens half, six half. GTO Wizard is not doing any of this. And then by the low jack, nine-handed, it gives you 5, 4, 3, 2, a lot different than it did with the in its six-handed charts. Moving on. So the fives have a choice here. If it were me, I would raise them this time. And then it should be folded around to the big blind. So this should be, and the big blind with a king nine suited should call mostly against the hijack. It should three bet the hijack. How often?
I think it
About
mixes
10 of the time. I think it's about a 50% raise, but it never folds. That's what I think it is in GTO Wizard.
Maybe a
That's
quarter.
King nine suited.
Yeah, King nine is going to three bet I think about half the time.
You mean squeeze, or if it
No,
was just a single raise?
If it was single raise, if this hand went the way it should go. So we're going to be in the nine-handed chart just because even though it's a six-handed game right now. Just because that's what I remember. I want to make sure my memory's right on it. Okay, so hijack raises, big blind.
I know this one pretty good.
King nine. Nope. Totally wrong.
Not even king 10.
No, this is when you say not even, it's no, these are too good. Here's the raises. They're down here in this land. Yep. That's what we're looking at. Okay. And then six-handed, let's see if that changes just for fun. And then we'll be back to what we're doing. Six-handed cash, six max. Everything else is the same. Hijack raises, big blind. Here, very similar. Very, very, very similar. Okay. So, but what's going to happen is the queen eight's going to call. Well, let's look at their VPIPs. Oh, the 7/8's going to call.
Broken stack flat.
He's got a VPIP of 75. We only have 8 hands on him, but he has a VPIP of 75. He's the one doing it. All right. Fives raise. There's the call. And now my king nine suited is never a fold here. Does it squeeze? Three-way? I bet king 10 suited does. I don't. Let's see. We can look at this. We can look at it pre-flop. Let's look at it two ways. Hijack, it was a button call. Big blinds. Nope. Look at how much the king nine folds in this. This is crazy.
Yeah, that's right. We learned that they get really tight.
Yeah, but king nine. Yeah. Yeah. And the real squeeze is at king jack. If you're looking for your nonsense squeeze, there it is. It's the jack does it. Because these are all reasonable. These are findable by value. All this. Yuck. Okay. Okay. Weird. The outliers
you guys
do it and nines don't.
So around the ace five,
yeah,
I just kind of stick all these and do ace five pure.
Sure.
Yep.
Does that make sense to you guys?
Great, simple idea.
Yeah, do the same thing.
Okay. Great idea.
And we were talking about that king nine on the big blind. I remember this one pretty good. I take all those lower wheel aces, put them into ace 4 and 5. I take all the kings, I put them into 6 and 7, and I take the queens and put them into 8 and 9.
That makes sense.
Oh, right. On the different range. Yes.
Yeah, on the single raise pot.
About that. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea. That's super simple to do. All right. DTO says, here's our DTO pre-flop game. DTOs pre-flop, two-handed 6 players. And this was the hijack button, I believe. Yeah, hijack,
Mhm.
raise. Sorry. Fold, raise, fold. He calls, and we don't need to look at his calling range because it does not include what he had. And now we're on the big blind with our king nine. All right, here we go. Justice. The squeeze is in there on DTO Wizard. DTO does not do anything nonlinear here in its squeezing. You know, there's no like you call with a queen jack, but you raise the queen 10 kind of thing. So this is a easier range to understand in in the simple world. It shoves these all into 6, 7, and 7, 8. It doesn't do the 5, 6, 5, 5, 4 that GTO did. It almost never does the 9, 8. And look at what it does with its wheel aces. It hates the wheel aces compared to GTO Wizard in
Interesting.
this spot. All right. Knowing that, this call is just fine.
So you're looking at 50 NL GTO Wizard, right? That's right.
GTO 50 NL, yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is probably rate driven.
I'm looking at 500 here. You want me to let's
No, no,
get
no.
you brought it up. We have the tool. We own it.
I guess DTO is maybe in a sense a little bit more simplified than GTO Wizard.
Simplified?
Not simple, but like not as you know,
Yeah,
it
I know
doesn't
what you're
have
saying. It does seem that way.
it doesn't have the different bet sizing, right? Three different bet sizings and the mixing, right?
That's true.
As
What it's doing post flop may make that difference.
Okay, so now we're looking at 50 NL for you, right?
And you don't have any calls on the button. We're done.
Man.
All right. So nice try. All right.
Really? No flats on the button?
Not in their 50 NL range. They've decided the rake is too high. They do it in their 500 NL rake.
Huh.
What's the rake here?
5% max. Is it? It's not a drop. I go look it up. Go look it up on Ignition. I don't know. I don't. Well, oh, you're asking the question. What is it on my site, or what is it? What is the assumptions on the solvers? Which is your question?
Both.
I don't know either.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Just wanted to clarify the question. So we go to the flop. And I think probably, well, it's only 8 hands. I think with his V75, I should be very soon.
Wait a second, Scotty.
Yeah.
We've seen the button have flats on DTO.
Yeah,
We've done
but
them.
I wasn't looking at it specifically NL50s. It's the rate.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
specifically looked at their one simulation for NL50 to answer Larry's question. Larry said, because we were looking at the NL 500 rakes because that's what they use for the three-way solve.
okay.
We're trying
All
to look at
right.
why my argument was GTO Wizard had more three bets around the ace five wheel because of the
Mm-hmm.
rate. And so we're
Yep.
going to put it to NL50 rate. They don't have any pots on buttons, so we can't apples
Gotcha.
to
So
apples.
all these past couple weeks, we've all been looking at 500 NL rake.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's the way solver uses. I'm almost sure of that. I could go look up. I asked him, and I think that's what he said. I make things up though, and we all know that.
But you sound very confident when you do it, so same as the truth.
Yes, my wife just pointed out that I'm not a pilot. Um, so here we go. This is fine. We flop a king. We should be checking here range. Thank you. The fives have some bets, and this hand should never bet. He checks. The 7-8 shouldn't be here. He checks. And now life is
Mm-mm.
bad. But at least I feel better about one thing. When I reviewed this hand, I might have gone, why did I let the fives get there? I was right to let the fives get there. Now I can bet my king. I do. Fives slow play it. Thank you. 7-8 folds. I do not get there, and now I should check. I do. He bets pot.
Hard to get away
think
from.
it's-
I'm not going to blame you for calling.
Yeah, I think
I don't.
I block some of the flush draw bluffs, but I don't block the ace high one.
Yeah. So you block bluffs, that's
Mhm.
bad. But not the ace high bluff would be the obvious.
I don't block
Um,
10 that continued. I don't block the ace 10. I don't block the ace queen.
Yeah, he was the original razor too. I think
Yeah.
this would be a fold, but it would be real. I'm a station. I would probably call in game, but
so
versus
you
his
can,
range when he needs to check as often as he does on the flop, he still has all the overpairs. He has your better kings.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think the kicker, I don't know. I don't think I can give a good answer. I think I'm too influenced by seeing the hand
All
heads
right.
up.
The wizard.
Think so. We checked the flop. Sorry, I didn't see the hand.
Check the round, yeah.
So the mistake was maybe checking the flop.
No, checking the flop is
No.
correct. It turned out
Hmm.
bad for me, but it
Okay.
is proper play. And I probably months ago, we probably saw this hand before, back when we were just sort of going through hands. And
Yeah.
I probably cursed myself when I saw the hand, but now I feel better about losing this money. So that's good. Let's see.
Yep.
We are on the post flop, 3 players, and the initial raiser was the me in the low jack, totally analyzable.
No,
Low jack.
no, you're in the big blind, aren't you?
I'm in the big blind. The original raiser is in the
Yeah, hijack raise.
we have to look at the 2 versions of it. So let's look at him let's put him in the cutoff for fun for the first time. Well, no, we're in the low jack already. So there's the low jack. We're in the low jack, and we want a flop of king jack deuce, something like that. High card is a king, not paired. King jack deuce.
King jack deuce.
That's what we want. And it was rainbow. We don't have a rainbow version of it, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure we don't. We do not. Close enough. We'll pick up a backdoor on the turn when we get it. All right, great. So we're in the big blind. We check range. We feel fine about that. Here he is with his pocket fives. He does some betting, surprisingly, and does some checking.
Wow.
That's a surprise bet here. Wow, he bets this board a lot. This was the thing Joey was.
Yeah, because it's his good board for him.
Here's the sandwich. King Jack is a good board for him. So he is all over this board. He checks his fives without the flush draw. And so that's a different thing in our world because there is no flush draw. But he checks, so that's just fine. The button we will not look at because he is not in range. Okay. Now we pick up the 5 of diamonds. And we can't pick up the 5 of diamonds because we need the king. So we have to pick up an offsuit 5 and we'll give ourselves the king 9 of clubs.
I would like to see the button's range at a glance just to see how often he bets when.
Fine. Fine. Here we go.
Still 50%. Okay.
50%. Betting all his kings, betting queen, queen, jack, jack, pure, 10-10. Oh, jack, jack is a set. 10-10 more than 9-9. So 38, 17, 17, 16 down to sevens. 17. These all stay about the same. And then fives jump up. Here's your hammock. 38, 17, 17, 16, 17, 25, 37, 39, and then a set. So there's the hammock shape. I don't know why. Ace four does not even need a flush draw to bet. How's that for some naked aggression against two players?
It's so strange. I wonder if it's driven because the low jack should be betting so often, and when he checks, you just get to kind of,
Yeah, let's look.
I don't know.
Go back a step, and we go to the low jack range here. And when he checks, he's rarely happy to get bet at. Yeah. Of the hands that we wanted him to have there, you know, the ace queen and stuff, he bets it mostly, the ace queen. He bets most of his ace 10. So those hands that we wanted him to have, and his queen 10, he's bet most of those away already. So this might lead to why I'm going to fold the king on the river. His ace high flushes draws. He bet them all. In this case, it would be a backdoor flush. But look at this. Look at him betting. So ace six suited he has. He does not have a lot of what I wanted him to have left. So that might lead to a fold. All right. Checks around. Turn. Check, check. Turn is an offsuit 5, and I'm going to now have the king 9. We're going to give me the king 9 of clubs to get things right. King 9 of clubs. The bet was a mistake. If I bet, the size is supposed to be bet $16, bet $8. I have two sizes. 8, so
pot or two pot.
Pot or two pot. So again, when it's checked around, there isn't a small bet, and I made a small bet. All right. But I did bet with his set of 5s. He doesn't trap. He did. And we can't see what to do on the, and we can't see what to do on the river anyway. Tool ends. So mistake.
I think his imposition raise makes sense because he's trying to get value from exactly what you have.
Mm-hmm.
No trapping.
Yeah. Yep.
No trapping with bottom set. Unblocks too much.
And I, of course, will call him.
Draw.
Yeah. With top pair and the flush draw, I'm definitely calling him. You know, if he raises me on the turn.
Yeah, you would have called.
Yeah. And then maybe I fold the river. Maybe, but his bet
so
on
one lesson from this is that he should be raising.
Yeah, definitely. I thought he was going to raise a turn, but
me too. Happy he didn't.
I didn't see the size that DTO used.
They bet pot.
What size did it use for the half pot bet or the pot bet that you?
They bet so on this.
So you bet half pot and they clicked pot.
Yeah, I bet on just under half, and they bet pot. Here. So
okay,
happy to have not bet pot, as it turns out.
What sizing does DTO use to the raise on turn with the set?
To the raise? Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I don't even know. Let's see. So back here, I bet. So let me go to 32. 32 and 56, huge.
Okay.
4x and 7x.
That's crazy. So it goes 4x. Got it. Okay.
7x. And
4x, 2x pot.
He goes 4x 100%. No 7x. And when he does his 7x, let's see if does anybody get 7x? The 7x exists, but it doesn't.
Zero.
But nobody's,
zero if you look at
I don't see anybody getting it.
Can you see real quick?
Go right here. There we go. 0 combos. You're right.
Can you see if you raise to 4x if in the solver if your flush draws are supposed to continue?
Oh, good idea. All right.
So
He does the
happens to me
raise.
this one. Raise and see in
Folds.
position raise. Now
Good question.
what are your flush draws
Well,
doing?
I'm not going to have the king nine suited because I'm not allowed to have it here, but I'll get something like it.
So
Two
you're
pair.
Two pair.
That doesn't count.
um,
You don't have top pair and a flush draw.
No.
no,
Yeah.
good
I do
point.
not have top pair and a flush draw. I do not have middle pair and a flush draw.
What's the queen nine doing? The queen nine is a flush draw. It's a
With
combo draw.
a combo draw. But here's the important
Yeah,
thing.
ace five is probably your
Ace five is a pair and a
nut
flush
flush
draw.
draw and bottom pair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your
Yeah.
easiest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Stuff.
Thanks.
There you go. Ace five blocks the turn set, which is what he had.
Good point.
So no love. All right.
What was the result? Did you fold?
No, I called and I lost. I
Oh,
called
you
the river.
did?
I
Yeah.
called the river. Lost to the fives. Lost a pot size bet. What should happen here is King Jack should raise. 5-5 should fold. And 9-3 should fold. That's what should happen. What's going to happen is King Jack is going to raise. Or ace three. I think it's going to be King Jack, and that's going to be call, call.
Yeah.
Yep. King Jack raises to 2. There's the call, call. That's what happens. This is wrong. I believe it. We can look at this in GTO and give it a 2 big blind size and see if that makes a difference, but I still think it's wrong. We'll take
No,
a
it's
look
not connected enough. It needs to have connectivity and also
Yeah, and I
flush.
think it's like two gaps, right?
Yeah, it'll do double gappers,
Yeah,
I
9-7.
think, but
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
But that's too. Yeah, it's not.
That's what I think. All right, here we go. Somehow it did not show all the known hole cards. There we go. All right, back up there.
We can't look at this in DTO because it's blinds, small
Can't
blind,
look,
big blind.
you can only look at the pre-flop part of it, which we will, but we're done. Yep, but it should be, but our theory says check, check. And all the top pairs bet with a king, with a jack of spades, even better. And they bet less often. We're going to look at this next time. We're going to just throw this in a thing. They bet less often with a jack of spades than with the jack of spades. That's what we think. He bets small, good for him. Fives with a 5 of spades. Heads up has to continue. Three-way, I think just folds in that because he doesn't know what the next guy's going to do.
Hard to fold with the combo draw.
Yeah, combo backdoor.
True.
Yeah, and remember, you're three-way, you're not heads up, but it is a small, tiny bet.
Yeah.
With this, do you continue with a backdoor here? No, fold. Good. Checks. Didn't add equity. Now your jack of spades is bad. You'd rather not have a jack of spades in your hand because you want to have a spade draw to call you when you bet pot. But I think this bets pot here. Close enough to pot for them, and the fives fold. Right. So this is cutoff. So in the wizard, we have a cutoff raise. And then we have the button is going to fold. The small blind with his fives has a sliver of calling. So we're going to let him call. And when he does it, even to this, oh, I got to change size. That's what it was. We need the 2 big blind open. GTO is still 2 point.
Go to the far left pre-flop only.
Pre-flop only. Thank you. Pre-flop only.
Open size.
Open size 2x. 100 big blinds. We got it. Let's do it. Same thing. Cutoff raises to 2. Small blind with fives. All over the place.
Bigger range there, yep.
Huge difference. Good for him. Good for him for knowing that. 9-3. Almost.
Ooh, we're getting 3
Look at how
gappers,
this
actually.
Look, this has changed to almost a tournament range.
Yeah.
I think this is worth learning. This difference. That's
So
for
this is
one
2
big
versus
blind.
2.5.
Difference between 2 and 2.5.
Yeah.
Huge.
I would like to check because this happens a lot. If it's a small blind that's calling here, I'd like to see if the big blind or the button calls, if that changes our big blind range considerably. Yeah, it does.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I
Yep,
thought.
it does. It does a lot. Out of position to 2 players. Out of position
Yep.
to 1.
Yeah.
But at 2.5, it was still we're back in the normal sizing. 2.5. I'm doing it this way rather than the other way because the assumptions, there's other assumptions that are different. So here we go. Here. In the 2.5, bet, call from the button, big blind is what you'd expect, what we've been talking about. Folding in the king 8 range here. And from the small blind, yep, wider. Significantly. Not 9-3 wide, but not wider. So this is a mistake. He's got a 25 big blind stack, which makes this more of a mistake. Right?
Oh, for sure.
His flush draws are even less valuable. Right. Okay. That's what we wanted to know. We're going to go to one more hero hand, and then we will be done. And this is not, ooh, this might be it. This might be it. Back before I knew. I'm going to hope that they raise to 2 big blinds so that it turns out that I was right. Right. What should happen here is ace 10 should raise, fold, 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 jack 6 suited against the hijack should fold.
Fold.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Jack 6. It should be against the hijack, the jack, it should be jack 8 against the hijack. Is that right? Hijack is the queen 6 is there. Queen 6, queen 8. No, I think this is jack 9. Let's take a look at that.
No, I think you're right. I think Jack 8 is going to be there because it's the worst connected Jack.
Could be. Could be. 9-handed, 2.5, GTO. Everything is right here. That's what we want. And this is a hijack raise. And the big blind, jack 8. Yep, it is jack 8. It's the queen 5 with the jack 8. There we go. Having said that, my jack 6 should fold. But he goes 3, and the call comes from
Broken stack flat.
the broken stack flat. Let's see what his HUD stats are for this nonsense. Oh, we don't have HUD? The HUD went away. I'll turn it off and on once and then go on. Hide the HUD. Show the HUD. Show the HUD. All right. HUD's not working. Moving on. And now here's where I didn't know how to play and thought, oh, with an extra player in, I can now expand my range of suited hands. I knew that I had to play fewer offsuit hands, but I thought I got to play more suited hands here. And so that's the mistake there. And it's not going to cost me too much. Check range. This bet makes sense. I think the size is wrong, but the bet makes sense, and it should just be fold, fold.
You should bet a third there, you saying?
Yeah, he should bet a third there. And we're going to take a look at this one. We're going to call this for ace 10. We're going to call this cutoff versus button and give them the right ranges and then be done. All right, here we go. We want this. We want Detail Explorer. We want to do a Post flop, 3 players. Cutoff simulation. We do not, we want to select the flop is king, queen, 3. So king high, not paired. Select flop. There are none. We have no flops.
What?
Let's try low jack. It doesn't give us any king high flops for this guy. All right, let's take a look at this. Try it again. No king high flops for the cutoff for the low jack either. Here we go. Here's our king high flops. It was king queen. We have king jack, closest thing we have to it. King jack.
Yep.
My range does not include the jack 6. And now I know this. And then the only question is after we check, does he bet ace 10 here?
I think he does at some frequency.
Yeah, I think
based on what we saw earlier.
I think he does.
Yeah,
Check.
I think he's gonna have bets. I think this board is good.
I mean, low jack has no. Hold on, go. What the heck? Pot ice, big blind checks. I have to read this. Hit the flop again. Here's the flop. Good. I check. The next player is the low jack. Let's see his range. Thank you. Ace 10. Yeah, that's all of them. So,
yep,
perfect.
And so highly dependent on board texture.
Yeah, yeah. And what was his check? What was his check bet frequency? It was high, right?
Like 70%.
Huge. So it's these 2 Broadway boards that we've seen that he's all over. Okay. Cool. Any final thoughts, words?
Oh, for homework, I'm going to try
Just
to bet
a
1/3 pot.
Quick thank you, Scotty. I don't know if we thanked you for.
Yeah, I agree. I really appreciate these. I think that they really changed the way I think about poker.
Excellent. So yeah, your homework, Derek, that's very good homework, is go to bet a third multi-way on the flop when you bet. And bet big on the turn when you bet.
Pot or double pot?
Okay.
So
let's just go with big. Let's just go with big.
Heads up, what should I bet on the flop?
Oh, heads up, it varies. It's flop texture variant and your hand. You do not have the simplified 1/3 bet. There is the small bet, big bet, and the over bet. And they are different on every flop. And that's a whole bunch of study that we will do once we go back to heads up pots.
Okay.
And that's what most poker is. That's what professional poker is played at. When I say professional, I mean poker where everybody at the table is good at the higher stakes, is that you don't get these multi-way pots very often.
I usually get massive multi-way plots.
Yeah. that is the feature of the lower stakes. And that's why mastering that would be good. And the tool that we're using is helpful, but the limits of the number of different flops they've got available make it somewhat limited. But the main limit is the number of positions available. Because it may not be GTO, but it's common to get the small blind and the big blind to call, right? We don't see that. It's common to get a call from the cutoff or the hijack going to the flop, and we don't see that. We really, if we wanted to really be learning 3-way and 4-way pots, we need a more flexible tool than this. But I think we're getting a lot of insights that we didn't have before. So I think we're learning, but there's a limit to what we're getting from this tool. But they have great tech support.
Good.
Thank you, DTO Wizard. All right.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Scotty. I appreciate you getting this tool for us. Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
See you tomorrow. May the poker gods be with you all.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yep.